But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
I don't know if it was a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
So you said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1,
doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. What's going on, guys? It is Tuesday night, which is one of the nights we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. We do that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific. What are those things we're not allowed to talk about? You know what they are. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. Got a doozy for you tonight, per usual. As we do this, right, this is discussion. This goes two ways. Very unlike many radio shows where it's kind of just preachy or a little bit, have the answers for you, or, politics or, just garbage. Basically, there's a lot of garbage out there. And I decided one day, you know what? There needs to be some radio shows out there that are not garbage. Let's make one called Troubled Minds and see if we can attract some amazing people. And sure enough, wouldn't you know, amazing people followed, and here we are having amazing conversations by dark of night into that digital darkness. And like I say, this is part of the great conversation anymore. That's what I'm calling it these days, because there's a lot of questions. There's a lot more questions I think that need to be asked that aren't being asked. Of course, not just regarding in terms of even religious thought or philosophy or basically all the rest of it, right? All the rest of that. That's what this is all about. It's sort of the great conversation. And what that means is it means a lot of things. It means that there's a lot of things that don't really get brought up in the media, or if they do, that they're instantly discounted or trashed on, or this, that, the other thing, including, I know a lot of you believe this and have you seen some of this stuff going on, but including just crapping on religion for whatever reason, right? For the new church of the technocrats. And so, to me, it's like, hey, kind of just crapping on people's entire, let's say, core of their being it's not okay by me. It's not okay. Like, there doesn't have to be a war on people. And I think by doing that, having a war on people, it's by design. I think that's really what this has always been about. with this lefty-righty politics stuff and, anyway, so on and so forth. I'm rambling a little bit, but hey, it's a talk show. If I'm not rambling, I'm not sure who is, and things are probably gone really, really poorly if nobody's talking. So in any case, right, this conversation is about things that just kind of don't get as much play as they should, all right? And that's what's going on tonight, as per usual, because that's what we do on this show. Love to hear your thoughts as we go. We're doing this live to include you, which includes all the ums and the ahs and all the things, all the imperfections that come with a live show. Because, of course, like I said, I could always do this in a vacuum and just record it and put it out, but then I don't get to hear all of your amazing takes, and I don't get to hear all of the great stuff that comes out of the conversation that happens. So if you want to be part of the show at any point tonight, we're doing this live, and you can dial 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. You can also go to troubledminds.org. That's the official website. Click the Discord link, and we'll put you on the show that way as well. Just jump in the caller queue and let me know in the chat you're ready to go, and we'll go. So Discord, by the way, is a chat client. It's a voice client. It works on mobile. It works on Macs and PCs and everything else in between, and it's free, completely free. It's a great way to communicate. It's sort of a kind of like an old school chat room, like AOL, but like on steroids, meaning that you can do a lot of things there. You can share ideas. You can share old school chat, like I said, just typing on the keyboard to each other. You can actually stream yourself, your camera, or your PC or whatever. You just share amazing things, links and videos and you name it. And also it works like a telephone. You can actually just pop on there and talk to people like an old school telephone. But the amazing part is a telephone kind of has a crappy quality anymore, all right? They haven't seemed to upgrade that technology. But Discord, if you have enough boosts and enough people on your Discord server, what happens is you get a really, really fantastic, crispy, high-quality audio that comes with it. And you'll see what I mean when we get some people on Discord a little bit later. But please join if you have not. Lots of good people in there, lots of good conversations happening. And just go to troubledminds.org, click the Discord link, and there you go. We are streaming on Rockfin, YouTube, DLive, and Twitter. And of course, we're broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. You can also join that Discord as well, pretty please. You can find that at fringe.fm/chat. That will give you a direct invite. I'm watching that chat room. I'm watching all the chat rooms. So what's up, shout out to S Magician and Brent out there, ENS Works. How are you guys? And we're just doing our thing, kicking it, talking about weird stuff by dark of night on the internet. So I think that covers it. Also, please download the Fringe app. You can find that at, of course, wherever you get your apps. That's going to be Apple or Android. It's completely free. It's the easiest way to listen to Troubled Minds at 7 p.m. Pacific, Monday through Thursday. And you just smash the play button. You'll get me. You'll get us. You'll hopefully get a good conversation and some amazing things to think about. So, all right. I think that covers it. Just a few things real quick, too, to let everybody know. I know not everybody's on the Discord, and we got a lot of people out there listening. If you want to support the show, there's a number of ways to do that. Just real quick, Rockfin, you can sign up through Rockfin directly, and it's not just premium content from Troubled Minds on demand, which there's many episodes and sort of the in behind the scenes, right? A lot of that gets edited out, but I talk to the chat in between commercial times, and a lot of that stays on Rockfin. You get some of that extra bonus content over there, and it is free, but you could also sub up, and it's $10 a month, and it's you get all the stuff. You get there's Abby Martin's over there, you get Michael Tracy, you get Sam Tripoli, you get Crow 777, and all kinds of individuals. Jimmy Doors over there as well. So good stuff. If you want to check that out, please do. Rockfin.com. Links in the description down below, and find Troubled Minds. Let's see, another couple ways real quick. Patreon, and of course the Twitch. We got a couple ways you can sub up there, and a new merch shop. And this is why I wanted to bring this up, is because a lot of people don't realize we have Troubled Minds merchandise. We were just working on some patches actually to put up on there as well, but there's hats, there's shirts now, there's mouse pads, there's all kinds of stuff. So go check it out, and there's more stuff going up this week, and we're working on more as we go. So there you go, troubledfans.com. You will not find me oiled up on a fuzzy couch, but you will find pretty sweet Troubled Minds merch. All right, let's get to this. Let's do this. Let's go to this. Now, yep, Red Skies Rising. Some of you may have seen this story. This is pretty amazing. This is from the sun.co.uk, but of course it's been reported in many other places, as they do, right? They aggregate the news stories and they trade them around, and everybody reports the same damn stuff anyway. So here we go. This is from the Sun, because why not? Crimson Conspiracy. Blood red sky phenomenon in China leaves onlookers claiming The apocalypse has begun. Uh-oh. Hey, why not, right? Why not start with the apocalypse? Because why not, right? Let's read just a little bit of this. Shocking videos of deep red skies in China have conspiracy theorists claiming the apocalypse is coming. Uh-oh. According to Newsweek, the red sky videos are real, but there are much more reasonable explanations for their appearance. And here's some, if you guys are watching the stream itself, these are actual real photos of what went down in China this past weekend. And if you look at the skies, it is unambiguously red. Yes, red skies by night. And what in the world is going on, right? As they say, it's supposedly an easy to determine what happened with this. But imagine you're just out doing your thing. You're gardening at night or something, and you look up at the sky and things just start to turn red. And maybe you think there's a wildfire or whatnot somewhere nearby. Yeah, but you don't smell any smoke, and everything seems fine except the sky's just red, and it continues to get more and more red. Yeah, that'd be weird, right? That'd be super weird. So here we go. A little bit. The pictures there, these are all completely legit. This was not made up. And this is straight from the article at thesun.co.uk. For the past few days, clips of the blood red sky in China have been circulating on Twitter and the Chinese social media site Weibo, W-E-I-B-O. The strange phenomenon is said to have occurred in the Chinese east coast city of Zhoushan. Clips and pictures show the red sky over residential areas. People can be seen staring up at the strange sight, what looks like something out of a sci-fi film. Tens of thousands of people have viewed the clips. Some people accuse them of being photoshopped, while others thought they signaled the end of times. One user tweeted, "In the Chinese urban district of Zhoushan, it seems that the apocalypse has begun." Another joked, "Stranger Things Season 4 looks a banger." There it is. Maybe this is the portal to the upside down. I don't know. Okay. So, of course, we'll get to the actual explanations of this when we get to this. But I think the thing is, right, it got me thinking, as you know, right, when I look at things like this, they may or may not be easily explained, okay? And even if they are easily explained, and this one is, we'll get to what they say this was. I'm not so sure that's the case because it seems a little outlandish, but who knows? I don't do the things they're describing as being done out there. But in any case, it got me thinking in terms of, well, what about red skies? What about the idea of, let's say, omens in the past, or let's say even let's say religious omens? Again, we've got stories of Constantine seeing a cross in the sky that made him change to a Christian way back in the day. We got things like what was that one? The one in Portugal with the seeing the Virgin Mary in the sky. What was that called? It'll come to me in a sec. But I mean, there's things like this, right? There's religious sort of omens, right? But what about these other ones, other omens when, let's say the sky does turn red, okay, or something like this. Let's say that something happens and it sort of, well, maybe it's the universe speaking to us. Okay, so that's the question tonight. As we get going, we're going to get back to this blood red sky in China in just a sec here. But the questions tonight are this, right? Do you think that omens are actually real? Meaning that if like the sky is red, it will give you a hint of what's to come. Let's say, some people have said in the past that if the sky is red, you've angered the gods, something like this. Others will look to it as maybe sort of like astrology or, kind of reading the tea leaves or something like this. And maybe the omens aren't necessarily the universe speaking to us, or maybe it is, but maybe it's a way for people to sort of read the situation based on patterns, maybe. I don't know. Or Our Lady of Fatima. Yes, thank you. Fatima, I think is how you say it. Yeah, but yes, that's the one. Thank you, Ronald over on Rockfin. Yeah, so, I mean, so that's the question tonight. So, number one, do you think the universe speaks to us through omens of any sort? And you can talk about this, you can talk about black cats, we can talk about luck, we can talk about all kinds of stuff that sort of fits into this. Or do you think this is some sort of message from the gods of such, or whatever it is you believe, right? And again, I'm as agnostic as possible, non-denominational, all the rest of that stuff, meaning that I don't care what you believe, and it's good for you. If your belief is good for you, it's good for me. I don't want people to be taken aback by blasphemy, because, well, it's just the way I am. I'm sorry. But so is this a message from the gods? Let's say a red sky like this. Do you think this is all possible? Or do you think it's all just when something happens out of the ordinary? It's just humans with that pareidolia and sort of wanting to see things that aren't there. That's the question as we begin this. All right, that's where we start tonight. Do you think there's anything to omens? And we'll get to a whole bunch of different ideas of what that actually means. But tonight we'll begin with the red sky because, well, I've never seen a red sky. Have you ever seen a red sky? I have not. So let's get back to this. Let's go to Newsweek. And they had a fact check on this, of course. If you want to check into any of this stuff that I'm talking about, my links are always in the description down below. I am not making this stuff up. This is real. At least, well, we're told it's real from the from the news media. And you know what I mean by that. But here we go. Newsweek.com. Fact check. We get a fact check about the red sky. Did sky turn crimson red in Chinese port city? Maybe. All right, let's see. Over the past couple of days, several video clips and images have circulated on Twitter and other social media sites showing what appears to be a deep red-colored sky in the Chinese east coast city of Zhoushan. One popular clip has been shared by several people, but appears to have originated from the Chinese social media site Weibo and shows a view of the sky from a residential street. As people stand and talk, the camera pans across the sky, showing the blood red color, which appears brighter towards the horizon. All right, it's right there. You can't miss it. Like I said, these photographs are pretty stunning because it's not ambiguously red. It is red. It is like blood red. Other clips, which appear to show the same phenomenon, also show a deep blood red sky with a bright source somewhere close to the horizon. Individual clips have gained tens of thousands of views, and you can check this stuff out on Twitter and everywhere else, including this link on Newsweek. The clips were attributed eerie significance by some, including Twitter user Anonymous Operations, who wrote, "In the Chinese urban district Zhoushan, it seems that the apocalypse has begun." Is this how that begins, guys? Is this how the end times actually happens with a blood red sky? Of course, they also field conspiracy theories, back to the article, with other users pushing unevidenced narratives around clandestine government activities. Oh, maybe the government's behind this. In any case, the red sky reports and videos appear to have been corroborated by the Chinese state media outlet, the Global Times. In a report on May 8th, the Global Times reported that the red sky appeared over Zhoushan on Saturday, May 7th, and became one of the top trending topics on Weibo, where it gained posts. It's more than 150 million views. In one of the video clips, an onlooker repeatedly said, "I had never seen anything like this." As to the cause, the Global Times reported that meteorologists had spoken to local media to explain why the phenomenon might have occurred. All right, so the plot thickens. We're going to get to the bottom of this in just a sec. But what do you think? What would you're doing your thing. Like I said, you're just hanging out doing whatever it is you do, and you see the sky go red. What's your first thought? Do you believe that it is maybe a harbinger of the end times, the end of days? Is this what the apocalypse actually looks like, or Ragnarok, or something like this? Well, I'm not so sure I believe that right off the bat. But like I said, it doesn't matter what I believe. It matters what you believe. Is this some sort of omen from, again, the gods, or who knows who else? The universe speaking to us? Or is it just some concoction of, well, modern technology? Love to hear your thoughts at 702-957-1037. Let's just cut to the chase. Let's tell you what this is, guys. So it was not indeed clandestine government activities. It was, this. They said since it was foggy, cloudy, and drizzling around the time of the red sky, the color might have been caused by the reflection of light from fishing boats on low-level clouds. All right? Fishing boats often use hundreds of red-tinted LED lights, which can create a striking visual effect when amassing in great numbers in the same location at night. And they've got some videos here of some of these actual... let's mute it. Okay, I can play a little bit of this, and you'll see that they've got some of these fishing boats where they have they're just stuck with all kinds of really bright LED red lights. Okay, and they say they supposedly attract the fish or something like this. I don't know. Anyway, let's read a little bit more. Staff from the Zhoushan Meteorological Bureau said that under certain conditions, aerosols in the atmosphere could refract and scatter the fishing boat lights. The Global Times added. Newsweek could not independently independently confirmed this conclusion. Other reports of blood red skies over China happened centuries ago in 1770, with researchers since suggesting that auroras sparked by a large solar storm could have been the culprit, according to Live Science. Sometimes solar activity can cause auroras in places where they wouldn't normally occur. However, on this occasion, the Global Times reported that solar and geomagnetic activity was actually calm on Saturday, citing the space physics research team of the China University of Geosciences in Wuhan. Wildfires, of course, are another possible cause, with one of the most recent cases reported in February 2019 in Indonesia, when the smoky haze from the blah blah turned the sky red. Anyway, blah blah blah. So the fact check, the ruling from Newsweek is true. True. The sky did appear to turn red over part of the city of Zhoushan in China recently, as social media images and footage from a number of angles, as well as the local media reports being confirmed. Now, okay, now think about this. Now, this is what got me in terms of this. What's up, Robert? Probably has it right. Pollution, right? Probably pollution. But so they're saying now this is strange, okay? If it's a coastal city and the boats are usually there with these red neon lights that are supposed to like attract fish, is what they're saying, is what they use this for, right? Well, it got me thinking in terms of, okay, look, if that's the case and you have people that are just shocked by the red skies happening and they live by the coast where you would expect to see this sort of thing, at least maybe not as stark and, super blood red, but you would expect to see maybe like pinkish skies, right? Or something to this effect. I mean, why would it suddenly be like this never happens and then suddenly the skies are blood red? So, of course, right? Me and my tinfoil hat strapped it on a little bit tighter and thought, that seems strange that people that live near the coast and they say fishing boats and these LED red lights are what actually caused the red skies in China. But if people there that live there are saying they've never seen anything like it, does that track? Or do you think there's something else going on here? So I don't know. Again, how's your tinfoil tingling on you tonight? And what about this idea of a red sky? But not just a red sky. How about we don't know what caused this? They say it is just lights from fishing boats, which makes me scratch my head and wonder. But what about the idea of omens? Do you think that, let's say, if the end of times is coming, the universe may or may not warn us? For instance, with a red sky. Or, for instance, with the holy cross in the sky, as Constantine saw, or the miracle at Fatima, is I think how you say it in Portuguese, Fatima. So I don't know. Is there something to this? And do you think that even if it's not sort of religious in some terms, that maybe the universe has its own way of warning us, or trying to communicate as the universe at large? That's what's on my mind tonight, and I hope you're into it. You tell me. So we've got red skies in China. Is that going to be the only place? Is it going to happen elsewhere? And is it actually fishing boats? What's your theory? Love to hear your thoughts. I see you, Joseph, in Iowa. We'll get to you as soon as we come back from the break here. But I want to hear from the rest of you as well. What's going on with this? What's your theory on what's really happening? Is it fishing boats and lights? Robert says pollution. Maybe it's a perfect storm of all those events. But again, it's not news that China's polluted, and it shouldn't be news that fishing boats on the coast use red lights. So, does the plot thicken, or does the plot not thicken? So, there we go. I think that probably evens us out and takes us right about where we need to be. So, what are your thoughts on this? Did you see the reports of China over the weekend and the red sky happening by dark of night? And if so, do you think the actual explanation given tracks and fits? And that fishing boats and a little bit of pollution and refraction of low clouds will actually turn the sky red. Love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Of course, is there something more sinister or something more, let's say, poignant happening or not? What do you believe? As always, it doesn't matter what I believe. It matters what you believe. We'll go to Joseph when we get back. Hang tight, Joseph, and looking to hear from you as well. Don't go anywhere. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Be right back. More red skies, omens, and your phone calls when we return. Be right back. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are streaming on Rockfin, YouTube, DLive, and Twitter, and we are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. Tonight, we're taking your phone calls as we discuss the idea of this red sky in China. What is your theory? Not only that, what about omens? Is it possible that the Earth, or let's say the universe at large, actually tries to communicate with humanity through some sort of signs, omens, or symbols? Love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. Just like this. Let's go to Joseph in Iowa. Welcome to Troubled Minds, my friend. How are you tonight? Go right ahead.
Hey, I think they're real, like omens and stuff, but like the stuff we see, I think we're like you said earlier, like connections, but then there's like something deeper, like, and it's really hard to like think back to like certain like things. Like I feel like the memories are almost like dreams when you have them. They're not like, most of them aren't like too, or they're like significant, but not like too significant, you know, like, I don't know.
Yeah, meaning
like
through your dreams? You mean omens in your dreams? I'm not sure exactly what you mean there.
No, like it could be something like small stuff. A lot of it is, I really was struggling to come up with an example, but like I think the atmosphere has changed a lot, though. Like that's another thing I was saying. Like around here, we just 2 days ago we had hail, and this hail was ridiculous. It hailed for about 30 minutes straight, just in this area, and like the town next to us didn't get hit, and it's like connected kind of. So like it was like kind of, I should have filmed it. I was just looking at it in awe, but it filled up our deck a foot of hail, because like it's kind of like a funnel, and it was just like funneling down into this area, and there was literally a foot of hail in 30 minutes in this one area. and like I also saw like an ice, or I figured out, I researched it, it was like around the sun, it was a double circle rainbow. Right? Like it was a whole rainbow circle. I've never seen that. I mean, as a kid, you think you would remember that. You'd be like, wow, a double circle rainbow. You know, like I feel like that would be remembered, but I've never seen one. And then like just driving home one day, I look up and there's two perfectly circles of rainbows around the sun.
Yeah.
I looked it up, and it was from ice in the atmosphere.
Yeah, I've actually seen that. So I spent a lot of time on the road, as many of you know. I spent time as a truck driver, right? Just long hauling and looking out the windows, right? And I have seen that. I have actually seen that circular rainbow pattern you're describing there. And but it was a long time. Like I hadn't seen one, you know, in probably my entire life that I could think of, but I saw them recently because I was out so often driving, right? But I did see one of those like you're describing. So it makes me wonder, right? So just because we haven't seen it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right? And then so suddenly this circular rainbow pattern happens. You see it, I see it. We're like, wow, I've never seen that before. That's super weird. Is that an omen? Or is that just, again, like us trying to make patterns as people of things that we maybe are experiencing for the first time? What's your thought there? So what if this, right? What if it was some sort of omen, that the rainbow in the sky, right? What do you think would be the purpose there? Do you think it's trying to communicate somehow, some way? Do you think that's a thing? You said omens are real. What does that mean, though? Small things, like you said, big things, somewhere in between?
It would be like I don't know, you would see, I really don't know how to make an example of this, but like I'm not really sure. It's just like you would feel it, you know, like, and it's kind of like, I'm not sure. There's certain experiences I had, but I really couldn't remember them. Any of them, actually, unless like it randomly came to my mind.
Okay, so that's fine. So if omens do happen, what do you think it is? Is it sort of a religious thing, or what's going on with that?
Religious. I don't even know if I don't know like about religious, but I do like the thought of like dreams, like you're simulating your up and coming waking reality. So maybe it's like kind of like a deja vu, like another category of deja vu. Kind of like you're like, you know, I'm not sure. Kind of like a deja vu. It could be an omen, like
sort of like a glitch in the matrix sort of thing, right? And I think that's an interesting thing too. Like if you think about in terms of simulation theory, let's say deja vu, but what about, let's say the weather program spurred out and like, you know, gave us a red sky instead of the dark sky at night, right? Maybe it's something to that effect. Maybe the omen is a digital glitch or something like that. I don't know. That's a good point with the deja vu.
It would like connect back to you as a person, like, and like you'd have to like pick that up and like kind of like interpret it as that, like as being that, right? You would like know, but everyone else would just see it as a blood red sky, and then like you would be like, for some reason, no, maybe that's like an omen. Is that like an omen? I'm not sure.
Yeah, just basically like a something happens, right? Whether it's a weather pattern like this, like you described, a circular rainbow, a red sky, something like this, right? Is it a warning somehow of bad things to come, right? Something like that. That's really all an omen would be, or in other terms, maybe better
like
days ahead.
Seeing a cat, like you were saying.
Yeah, black cat, something like that, right? Yeah, superstitions and all the rest. Basically, right? Do you think it's real? Do you think it's real that the universe, or let's say the gods, or however you want to sort of frame it, is trying to communicate with us through these ideas, through something like a red sky? That's really the question. And if you don't have a perfect example, that's cool.
Like, and like I was thinking like future. It could not be it could be from the future too. Like maybe that's how they communicate through us. It's like these weird glitches and stuff. Because if they could full out communicate, we would know what's going on. We'd be like, all right, these guys clearly like if they, like, let's say you got possessed by someone from the future. I mean, there would be stories of people like snapping out of who they are. And I don't know. I'm thinking like, I just went completely off the rail right there, but
it is troubled minds after all.
Yeah, I don't really have much on that on the omen, besides like it's kind of hard to remember. I think it's weird that it's hard to remember. Like, I know what it is, but I can't like explain, you know?
Sure, fair enough. Welcome to my world, man. Constantly trying to explain things that I don't understand. That's my middle name anymore. But yeah, okay. So what are your thoughts on this red light in the sky then in China? Do you think that the fishing lights from the boats explain this?
I wonder if it has to do with, because I live in a farm. I'm in the middle of, like, I wouldn't even say a farm. I mean, a farm is a farm. I'm like in the middle of like industrialized. You fly over it in a plane, like you won't even know. You just see squares for days, and you'll see like a little black spot. Like that's where I am, the little mold. But oh man, I completely. Wait, what were you saying? What was that question again?
Just the red stuff in the sky. Do you think that the fishing lights on the boat?
Be farming.
Farming, okay.
Farming, right? We're like pumping chemicals into the soil, and that's absorbing back into the atmosphere, right? It has to be like evaporation. We got like, I'm not sure what the side effects of what we're doing to farming is, but I imagine like China, they don't have regulations like we do, and their stuff is a lot more wicked.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. Kelly's saying over on Rockfin that it seems like it's a sort of a UFO situation where this thing kind of came in and then hovered for a little bit and then flew out. and the sky was red momentarily, and then it just sort of faded, and suggesting that it couldn't be fishing boat lights at all. So I don't know. That's a good one. He's got a video over on Rockfin that he's posted. It's a Facebook video. So I'm not going to pull it up just for spyware purposes. but I'll see if I can find the video and play exactly what he's describing a little bit later. I don't know. I think it's unclear. Red sky in China, and they say it's just lights from fishing boats. Doesn't seem to track, does it? Because again, like I said, if they were on the coast, they would have probably noticed this once or twice before. But suddenly the entire sky turns red. I don't know, man. UFOs?
Yeah, that could be. It could be a straight up military operation going off at sea. You know, like a big old energy weapon that lit off, or something, or like a laser. Because that kind of like would a laser lights up a lot of area. Maybe like just a really powerful something, just military. Or like a light bulb, right? Like a UFO would be a lot of energy. Maybe it lights up our atmosphere. Maybe it lit up our atmosphere like a light bulb, all the chemicals.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know. That's an interesting theory, though.
I like the theory. You're the best, bro. I appreciate you chiming in here and giving us your thoughts, man. Joseph here, a good friend of mine, good friend of the shows. He's got a YouTube channel called Isle Walks. Check it out. He does original music. Talented guy. I was actually watching one of his live streams over there, and he can play. He was playing a little bit of guitar and singing a little bit, and keep up the good work, my man. You're the best.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Give Joseph a follow. Links in the description down below. It says, follow Joseph here. Please do that. Good guy. And, well, we're still talking about this. What do you know about this, the red sky in China? They're telling us it's just lights off of a fishing boat, right? Or off of multiple fishing boats. They can, they're chilling out there together in the water, and the pollution or whatnot, the low cloud cover, and some, particulates in the air created this red sky effect. Well, again, what's really happening here? It seems to be unclear, because fishing boats seems ridiculous. All right, there's that. The second one is Kelly over on the Rockfin there is saying that it appears like it was some sort of a craft that flew in, like some sort of maybe a UFO even, that caused this red sky that kind of came in and then left, and then the sky kind of reverted back. So I don't know. I haven't seen the actual videos themselves. I just saw some of them. I didn't watch all of them. But what do you guys know about this? Do you think this is exactly like we're describing just fishing boats, or do you think there's something more nefarious going on? And then in larger terms, what about a red sky? What does it mean for, well, let's say the universe trying to communicate with us in terms of omens? And let's go to this real quick. Matt said this in the chat, and he's completely right. I was looking into this, and the red sky typically means a lot of things depending on who you ask, right? And like I said, it's sometimes it's a harbinger of angering the gods, and something bad's about to happen, right? But it depends. Is it a red sky in the morning, a red sky in the afternoon, whatever's going on here? So here we go. The common phrase this is from the Ministry of Truth, Wikipedia, of course. The common phrase red sky at morning is a line from an ancient rhyme often repeated by mariners. Red sky at night, sailor's delight. Red sky at morning, sailors take warning. The concept is over 2,000 years old and is cited in the New Testament as established wisdom that prevailed among the Jews of the Second Temple period by Jesus in Matthew 16:2 and 3. All right, and I dug those up, and I can read those to you in a little bit. But I don't know, so this is not a new phenomenon, okay? This idea of a red sky. And for a lot of reasons, these things happen with atmospheric conditions and the sun being in different maximum or minimum, as solar cycles and whatnot. There's a lot to this, but what is happening in China in particular, and why is it so blood red? What do you know about it? What are your theories? I'd love to hear your thoughts at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You guys, you jokers over on Rockfin, the peanut gallery over on Rockfin, always cracking the jokes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer for this. I did think it was suspicious that it was easy to just say it was fishing boats off the coast, but that doesn't track. It doesn't track. It just doesn't seem legit to me. I've spent a lot of time by the ocean growing up out there in California, and even had my grandparents live right there. We were on the bay all the time, and if something like this was happening, you would notice. If you lived there, you would notice. We used to spend our whole summers out there, and I tell you what, there's nothing like this summer on the coast. That's for sure. But the rest of the year it's kind of gloomy and dismal. So I kind of like the desert. Give me the desert all day. I live in Vegas, as you guys know. But okay, so I mean, what is going on with this? And so what about the larger implications? What if this is, as they've said sometime in the past, not just maybe a way to look at the weather patterns for ancient mariners, but what about if it's some way we're being sent a message that we have angered the gods, that maybe, let's say Mars, the god of war, is mad, and he made the sky red as a warning. Somebody in the chat said a little ways back, and it's super hilarious and possibly accurate. Why does China get all of the actual end of the world stuff, and why not why can't we share some of the end of the world stuff here? Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. You guys tell me, what are your thoughts on this? What about the red sky? What about omens? Do you think that there is something out there maybe trying to communicate with us through, like Joseph described, maybe like a circular rainbow pattern? What about the red sky in China? Do you think this tracks on what's actually going on here? Or do you think this is all just pareidolia and humans trying to, let's say, put a pattern together in their head? I'm not so sure. There's lots of good stuff here. Let's go to some of these other terms, right? So the origin of the phrase red sky at night, and again, this goes back thousands of years, remember, it's very old and quite likely to have been passed down by word of mouth sometime before it was ever written down. So that tells you there's been a lot of red skies throughout the thousands of years. There was a written version in Matthew the 16th in the Wycliffe Bible from as early as 1395, and they have the actual whatever this is, it's some other language that I can't read, but the authorized version gives it a more familiar form. When it is evening, ye say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. There were many later citations, etc., so on. From Shakespeare in Venus and Adonis, like a red morn that ever yet betokened a wreck to the seamen, sorrow to shepherds. And so, okay, so what's going on with this? Again, is this just like normal atmospheric stuff? Is this just the sun playing games on us? Or again, is there something else that's trying to be described through an omen, through a message, through a supernatural something? Do you believe in this? Do you believe this is real? Or is this just like, come on, Mike, you are off the rails again tonight? But that's okay, because that's what Mike does. That's what Troubled Minds is. We live off the rails because the rails, quite honestly, are very boring. So there's a lot to this, right? So I was looking into some of these omens and what omens are and what they mean. And there's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of cultures the world over that think that again, you guys know some of these. Like if you break a mirror, right? 7 years bad luck. Okay, it's a bad omen. All right, you cross the path of a black cat, or a black cat crosses your path, a bad omen. You're going to have bad luck, right? This type of stuff. Do you think this is real, or again, superstitious horse manure that people just make up as, well, just maybe to tell scary stories by dark of night? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what to think about the world anymore, because all the things we were taught that they said, this stuff isn't real, Mike. Like, this stuff is just not real. I don't know. I've been paying a lot more attention recently, and I'm not so sure myself. But it doesn't matter what I think. It only matters what you think. What do you believe? What about this red sky in China? What caused it? What about actual omens? What about maybe entities, or let's say the gods themselves? Or what if the universe is actually trying to communicate with us and tell us something? What would be the message of a red sky? I wonder. What's up? Robert says, I've been starting to wonder if there was an ongoing operation to eliminate millions of Chinese through deliberate release of bioweapons. And okay, I wasn't expecting to take it there, but okay. All right. What's going on, guys? Just reading the chat. I hope everybody's well. What's up, Mr. Mission Control? How are you? We got sightings on 18 wheels out there. Just hanging out, talking about crazy stuff. What do you guys know about this China and the red sky and all the rest? I don't think fishing boats and fishing lights cut it for this. But yeah, what's up? Daryl says false flag maybe. There's a lot of ideas in the chat out there. Pretty good stuff. But I don't know. It does seem that even Kelly's suggesting maybe a UFO. So there you go. Let's jump to the Bible real quick and see what it says. Again, that's Matthew 16:2-3, and this is regarding a red sky. Okay, so this is, again, goes back thousands of years. The idea of a red sky. Again, remember, this was the old saying: "Red sky at morning" is a line from this. "Red sky at night, sailor's delight. Red sky at morning, sailors take warning." So, yeah, there we go. Let me see. I got some... let's give you a little bit of biblical stuff here before we take a break. But as always, right, it doesn't matter what I think. It matters what you think. Copy that, James. Thank you. We got Matthew 16:2-3. It says this. He answered them, quote, "When it is evening, you say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be stormy today, for the sky is red and threatening. You know how to interpret the appearance of the sky, but you cannot interpret the signs of the times." And that's what I want to know. Can we interpret the sign of the times? And do you think it has anything to do with omens, red skies, black cats, broken mirrors, or is this all superstitious hogwash? As you know, I'm not the answers guy, I'm the questions guy, and I'm curious. Do you think that if this is all pareidolia and we're just spinning our wheels here, I'm okay with that, because these discussions go so many different ways when we bring this stuff up. But what do you believe about these red skies in China? Is it fishing boats like they say, which seems to not track to me? Is it a UFO like Kelly maybe is suggesting over on Rockfin? Is there something more dire and urgent to a red sky in China, maybe even to the point of the universe trying to tell us something about ourselves as a warning? So that's where my mind's at tonight. I hope a Tuesday night finds you well. A more random, weird stuff by dark of night to troubled minds, and we're just doing our thing, just hanging out. And hope you're doing well as well. What's up, Mr. Mission Control? It's air pollution. Maybe, but also like bright red. You saw the pictures, right? You saw the pictures. But this is like bright red, like literally bright red. Maybe, right? But it's bright red. This isn't like just, like... Anyway, I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? I don't know the answers to these things, because I really don't. If I did, I'd just tell you and we'd be done. But there we go. So it says, well, people compared the event to that 1770 incident where the sky turned red for 9 days due to a massive solar activity, as claimed by Japanese scientists in 2017. An expert from the space physics research team of China University of Geosciences in Wuhan told the media that no anomaly in solar activity was observed, and the two events were independent of each other. So, well, apparently it's not a solar thing. It's not, maybe it is a little bit of pollution. Maybe it is a dire warning from somebody somewhere else. What are your thoughts? You tell me. A red sky in China and, omens. You tell me. Does the universe speak through things like this? Is this, again, superstitious nonsense, or what's actually going on? What's up, Catalina? I see there says, or the moon is on its period. There we go, right? Maybe. What's up, Oxyuki Love says, magnetic storm. It could be. I don't know, and that's why we talk about this stuff in these terms, because I just don't know the answers, and love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. More red skies rising and the universe speaking to us through omens when we return. Be right back. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds and your phone calls on the way. We are talking about the alien abduction phenomenon.
The aliens are looking through your eyes and they're accessing your optic nerve. I'm doing fantastic. Through that optic nerve, they're transferring to your brain. People are random images as they traverse neurons in the brain.
All right, so maybe,
and they also feel them planting or receiving memories or ideas or images.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. What's going on, guys? It is a Tuesday night, which is one of the nights we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what those things are. We do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific. Those things are aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. We're taking your phone calls tonight as we discuss the idea of omens, this red sky in China that just happened over the weekend. They described it away as fishing boats with neon lights. Well, I would think that there's a number of reasons why this would not be real, okay? For a real explanation, anyway. We've got a lot of pictures regarding what's actually happening with this red sky in China, right? But if they lived on the coast, you would expect that they would be used to at least some form of red in the sky if this was a normal phenomenon from fishing boats, right? But, well, it doesn't seem to be the case. I don't know, right? What's really going on here? Is it some sort of a clandestine government activity? Is it, as maybe Kelly suggested, sort of a UFO situation? If you look at this screen grab, it seems to be something sort of out there in the night sky that's glowing is sort of behind this reddish hue. So maybe there's a UFO involved. I don't know. I don't know what's really going on here, because if I did, it would be an easy thing to describe and explain. But it just seems to me that saying that these are fishing boats is not so good. So yeah, over the weekend, China had a blood red sky, and that was Saturday night in a town called Zhoushan City. And of course, right, they said that, yeah, fishing boats, they use red lights to attract fish. Okay, all right. That's cool, right? That seems fine. This seems fine. But it got me thinking in terms of something a little bit larger. What if there's some sort of this is a warning. What if it is the gods, I don't know, let's say the god of war, Mars, warning us about World War III? Or what if it's something different entirely? What if it's maybe the universe trying to communicate with us through ominous skies? You tell me. Love to hear your thoughts. We're doing this live to include you if you want to be part of the discussion. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. We are streaming on Rockfin, YouTube, DLive, and Twitter. And, of course, we are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM and taking your calls. So do you think that the universe does try to maybe communicate or speak through omens, like red skies and black cats and other things? Or do you think this is all superstitious hogwash? Love to hear your thoughts. Let's go to, looks like we're going to James deferred. Let's go to Daryl in New York. Welcome to Troubled Minds. Are you there? Test, 1, 2.
Hey. Hi, Michael. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. How are you, Daryl?
Awesome. Yeah, I love this topic. And I saw that red sky. It was actually trending a little bit on Twitter. So there was a little bit of talk about, the Nibiru. I don't know what you believe about Nibiru, but they have supposedly a high iron oxide content, and that would indicate that Nibiru is in our neighborhood or something, because it would probably turn our sky that color. But I'm not saying that it exists or we have some rogue planet that's capable of doing, that kind of random kind of sort of rotation, you know, or what do they call that? It's not in a regular orbit. It's like quite independent orbit, you know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but it's possible, right? That was one of the theories. Of course, there was a blood moon that's definitely guaranteed to happen like any day now or something, as well as an eclipse. I'm not sure. So it's not very possible. Some sort of reflection, though it did look like that was like definitely some sort of aircraft in that video or that picture. Then I was thinking, well, red is like communist red. It's red pill red, Red Riding Hood red, the Red Party, the red blood clots. What kind of menstrual cycle red? I don't know. There's all kinds of red. And there's also something that happens every 12,000 years. There's some kind of reset that's maybe natural when the planets do something and line up and there's gravity. I don't know. I'm not saying I know anything about this. I know very little about it. But also, China does some pretty awesome looking fireworks and amazing, like, sky art almost. I've seen some things in their sky that make fireworks look like firecrackers, you know? I don't know, I think I've mentioned that before. You know, if you look up just Chinese entertainment in the sky, you'll see something awesome. So they know how to do stuff that makes it appear like stuff is in that sky. And I would not be surprised if I even heard a rumor that there was some kind of a planned false flag event that got thwarted by drones. They were going to make these drones look like UFOs on April Fool's Day, but somebody outed them. And then, all right, so that's it for the red stuff. I just always wanted to say about omens, I don't know, but I have always been like the one that cracks an egg open and it has like a blood red spot in it, like it's fertilized. And I don't think you're supposed to eat them. At least that was my mother taught me. But I don't know, there's some kind of bad omen when you get an egg that has been fertilized, you know? It's pretty rare. I don't know what that means, though. If anybody has any, like, idea what omen that would predict or proceed or, follow, I don't know. Then I don't know. I was thinking about, like, there's this string theory I had as a little girl, and then I found out maybe it wasn't so original, that you had like this invisible string. I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I don't know.
It's all right. It's all right. we don't have to do that. No. Okay. So I've never heard the egg thing, but regarding omens, so do you think that maybe this is something greater? Is kind of the question, right? Maybe it's not man-made. Maybe it's not fishing lights. Maybe it's not any of this, or some sort of solar flare activity going on. But what if it's something else, right? And that was the intriguing part to me. Like, this is maybe Juice Land, and we do like to talk about and think about sort of extraordinary possibilities. Now, what do you think if regarding sort of like supernatural omens, things like this? Do you think there is maybe the gods or what have you, or the universe trying to communicate with us through things like a red sky? Do you think that's possible?
Oh, I think there's some bad energy going on that might do that, you know? I think it is possible that some kind of, physical manifestation of some, magic or something can happen like that. I mean, it probably has, some other kind of elements that might be possible. But what about, like, the energy of the Earth? Like how do those crop circles kind of come out in perfect geometric forms, trying to send us some sort of message? Is that some sort of omen message thing? Who does that? And what are they trying to tell us, And there are people that interpret them. I mean, some of them, David Wilcock, for example, he used to interpret, like, some of it was like DNA, big DNAs on a crop field, right? Messages, perfect geometry. It's, like, pretty remarkable. And is that the Earth doing it, or is it something supernatural? We don't know about that. So that's about all I have to say about just about everything tonight. And, there is that could be some sort of indication of something negative happening. I'm not sure. they also had meteors that created blood rain. I think you've heard that in Sri Lanka. And Sri Lanka just went to hell. Did you hear? I think they lost their leader, and there's kind of really bad things going on in Sri Lanka, which I didn't think would ever fall apart like that. I thought they were pretty peaceful, but they had blood rain that came from a meteor that left a lot of iron oxide. That's why it was red. And the next thing they knew, the clouds were raining red rain. So that was a kind of natural phenomenon.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting one. We did that a while back on this show, and it some people even describe it as an alien presence, not black goo but red goo that came from some sort of comet passing. They got the comet stuff, the particulates got stuck in the atmosphere. It ended up creating sort of this reddish jelly that rained down on Sri Lanka. Yeah, and they had puddles of this stuff. There's pictures of this where there's literally puddles of what looks like red water. It's not thick enough to be blood, but it's definitely terrifying in those terms, right?
Yeah, that would be a kind of crazy sign when it starts to rain water or rain fish, or there's all kinds of I don't know if that ever happened, or if it's a biblical thing that it rained fish. I saw it in a movie once. What was that movie? It was The Last Man on Earth. It was so interesting. Brother from Another Planet, maybe? I'm not sure what the movie was. It was raining fish. It was so creative. And it was the end of the world. It was very apocalyptic, but very creatively done. And everything was just the upside down totally. It was so well done. I don't know if you ever heard that. Saw that movie.
I've never seen it, actually. Never even heard of it, to be perfectly honest.
Oh. Yeah, one of the best things I've ever seen when I was in France. I saw it in Paris when I was working there. I was 24, and it was amazing. So that was there's going to be some weird stuff. Who knows? Apparently these retrograde planets, they do their own flips. It's they're doing some weird stuff too. Maybe we're getting some interplanetary energy that. They're finding out all kinds of stuff lately. Our telescopes are seeing things billions of light years away from here. It's crazy that we have access to all this stuff. So maybe it's an omen. Maybe it's just some sort of universal energy. Maybe it's just some, cosmic red stuff. It's red energy.
Yeah, Matt in California in the chat says Carnage, which is actually another alien symbiote from the Marvel universe, very much like Venom with a black goo. We're talking about the red goo and sort of that rain you're talking about. Wild stuff. We got James behind you, Daryl. We got to cut. You good? You got anything else for us?
Well, Marcia and I were talking about this. I don't know. I can't really say everything we talked about, but she said that they're predicting this kind of crazy event, and maybe certain parts of the population are going to become enhanced. I think I might have mentioned this. Some of them are just going to disintegrate, and the elites are going to be even more superpowered. But it would be some kind of natural event, some kind of disastrous event with some kind of ray that's going to just enhance our innate kind of powers. Maybe we'll all become telepathic, or we'll all go back to flying, or we'll be able to do some crazy stuff. Maybe there are humans at that level, but it's going to make some of the humans rise to that wizard type of level. But the elites have already genetically modified themselves to even badder and better than that. So I don't know. That's just some speculation on some other platform that I'm not really involved in, but I found it very interesting, at least.
Gotcha. All right. So maybe there is something to this, and sort of an omen of bad things to come. You're the best, Daryl. I appreciate the phone call. You're welcome to stay right where you're at. Just go ahead and mute up. Daryl here, a good friend of mine, good friend of the show's. She's got a YouTube channel called her name, Daryl. You can actually scroll links in the description. Give her a follow, please. She sings in English and French and talks about Morgellons and other stuff. If you want to learn about that, come give her some love. Follow her YouTube channel. All the amazing people that are part of Troubled Minds that just make this whole show go around. I appreciate them very much. So let's let's give them some love. All the links down below in the descriptions. You can go find them there. And please follow the Yellow Brick Road. All right, 702-957-1037. Red skies rising. Okay, does the universe speak through omens? We're talking about omens tonight. We're talking about this red sky in China. Now, they described it away as fishing boats, shining LED red lights that are supposed to attract fish. Okay, but again, it doesn't track to me because for a number of reasons. We got this photograph supplied by Kelly. What's up? Shout out to Kelly in Colorado. He said, look, there's something in the sky. This is not like lights, just sort of that particulate, smog China thing going on with like fishing boats. There seems to be something floating up there. And he says in the video, I didn't check this particular video, but he says it looks like it dips in and dips out. And this thing kind of comes, the sky goes red and then the red fades when this thing flies away. So I don't know what's going on with this. What do you guys think? Is it related to UFO activity? Is this something else? Is it omens? We're going to get to more omens as we go tonight, including the black cats, the broken mirrors. There's all kinds of I don't want to say crazy because that's probably that's not so nice, Mike, but there's some pretty wild and interesting omens that people believe the world over regarding all kinds of different things. So we'll get to some of that as we go tonight. We'll get to carnage like Matt in California said. Lots of ideas here with this red stuff in the sky. Red rain back in Sri Lanka, if you guys remember that. Some pretty good connections being made by Joseph and by Daryl here. Appreciate the phone calls. Love to hear your thoughts. What is this red stuff in the sky? Do you believe in omens? And if so, what do you think a red sky portends for the future? 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubleminds.org. We'll put you on the show as easy as this, just like this. Let's go to James. James in Michigan. What's up, brother? How are you tonight? Test 1 2. We've got a James malfunction. James, are you there? Yep, we got a reboot. All right, he's going to quick reboot and jump back in. Looking to hear your guys' thoughts. Is this a UFO in the sky, this red actual situation happening in China, or is this something else? Do you believe? I guess regarding this type of stuff, what it kind of goes back to the movie Signs, right? You remember that when they say, what kind of person are you? Are you the type of person that believes that everything just kind of happens randomly, or do things happen for a reason? And that's sort of the crux of the conversation tonight. What about this red sky? Is it some sort of omen, some sort of, warning? You tell me. Let's go back to James in Michigan. What's up, brother? I think I heard you. You there?
I'm here.
Loud and clear. What's up, bro? I hate that, right? Discord, yeah, Discord has a weird habit of if it updates so often, if you don't have like an updated version, it'll do that stuff. But we're all good. What's on your mind tonight, my man? What do you think about this red sky? I'm sure you heard a little bit about it over the weekend, right?
Yeah, I believe someone, it might have been Kelly, I'm not sure who it was exactly, because there's just so much that goes into the Discord. But I did see pictures of it in Discord, so that was pretty odd. I agree with you, the official explanation, to me just makes me wonder, well then why hasn't this happened, before, several times over the years? If it's fishing boats and then pollution, regardless of whatever the pollution is or whatever, it seems like this would be happening, at least before a few times. And also, it seems like it'd be happening in other places as well, not just over there.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Like when you live in a particular area, you've kind of seen it all at some point, right? Like you get these weird coastal phenomena happening, and of course you've probably seen it. Like I said, you see when you live out there by the ocean, they say that one of the first things you learn is you never turn your back to the ocean because it's dangerous, right? It's like that type of stuff. It's like people that don't live in those areas don't know these things. But if you've been there for a long time, even let's say a big chunk of your life, you've seen all there is to see. It's not like China suddenly turned into some huge polluting country. They've been a huge polluting country forever, right? I mean, for modern ever. And so this it doesn't track. The explanation to me does not track. But then it starts to ask the question and beg the question here. What is it then? If this is not actually just a red sky based on pollution and whatnot happening in China, what's going on, man? You think there's some actual, let's say, supernatural sauce kind of drizzled on top of the sky here? Or what's going on? What's your take there regarding, let's say, maybe juice? What's the maybe juice take, James?
Well, I am curious about that possible UFO that Kelly was referencing. Of course, to me that's always. It makes me wonder though if that is what that is it some kind of a signal? Not even necessarily to us, but to someone else, somewhere else. That's one thing, one angle of it. The thing with omens and superstitions is it can mean something to one group of people or one person and then nothing to another. So it's really hard. It makes it really something I love to look into because, and when I say that, I don't mean that as a dismissive thing. I'm just saying, and that's like that with any kind of, a lot of ideas, different people that take an idea and other people will reject it, So, regarding the omens thing, if it's not some kind of a UFO thing, and it is some kind of paranormal thing, that is, it must mean something. The question is then just who or what initiated it, and then who was it meant for, and then what was it supposed to mean?
Exactly, right? And so, back to the idea that maybe it's a warning of sorts. Maybe they don't, whatever, let's say the Archons don't like the pollution, you know what I'm saying? Would they turn the sky red and be like, this is your last chance, this is your final warning. Stop polluting the atmosphere, or we're coming for you. Right? Something to this effect. I don't know, and I think that's the fun stuff to think about. But I don't know. UFOs, maybe. I mean, look, we got all kinds of UFO news too, right? I mean, I know you heard that you posted in the Discord earlier today, and I said it's been all over Twitter like crazy. A week from today, next Tuesday, they're going to have actual congressional hearings regarding UFOs. I almost did the show on that tonight, but everybody else is. It's like, when they zig, we zag. We're not going to talk about that. Let's talk about the red sky in China. Why not, right? So I don't know. It seems like, what if it was a UFO? And what if this red sky was not just a message, let's say, of an omen from let's say the gods or whatnot, but what if it was actually extraterrestrials? We got like a minute left, James. Go ahead.
Well, it's just kind of funny, and I mentioned this. I didn't post any of that, but I did mention in the chat earlier. Isn't the timing of all of this kind of interesting? In that we had the red sky thing, then recently, and I know this isn't on the topic for tonight, but there was this news, these images from NASA about something on Mars that looks a lot like a doorway, and then you have these hearings that have just been announced.
The plot thickens. James here, good friend of mine, good friend of the show. He's got a podcast called Salcedo Paranormal. Give him some love. Links in the description. You're the best, James. You're welcome to stay right there. Great takes as always. I appreciate you very much. Thanks for the call, bro.
No problem. Have a good night.
702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. More red skies rising, the universe and omens and UFOs when we return. Be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are streaming on Rockfin, YouTube, DLive, and Twitter, and we are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. Tonight, we're taking your phone calls as we look at this red sky in China. What the hell is going on over there, right? Some people have suggested this is a UFO. Some people have said the official explanation is a bunch of fishing boats with red lights trying to attract fish, and it hit the particulates and the low cloud cover and is causing a red sky. I'm wondering if it's some sort of warning I'm wondering, what do you believe? 702-957-1037. What about omens? Do you think it's possible? If you go back through history, the idea of a red sky is not new, right? It's definitely not new. They have this saying, right? It goes, red sky at night, sailors delight. Red sky at morning, sailors take warning. So this goes all the way back. It's biblical. It's like this is thousands of years old, this idea. So a red sky in and of itself isn't super bizarre, right? Because they use it to tell the weather. And again, the sailors, they kind of know. You can read the tea leaves of these weather patterns if you're, familiar with just paying attention, right? It's kind of back to paying attention. But in terms of like actual red skies, I mean, this sky is frickin' red, like holy smokes red. Like this is not just like a, sort of a pinkish hue. Like this is red. This is red. This is like a blood red sky. And so if that's the case, and this is what's happening in China, what do you think this is? Is it again sort of that UFO? As you guys see the photograph, if you're watching the stream, it appears like there's a light in the sky that's sort of maybe kind of coming through and causing this redness. That's I don't know. And like Kelly suggested, maybe it just flew off and the red kind of dissipated. So what's really going on in China is the question, right? I'm not buying fishing boats. I'm not buying red lights. And they're not actually calling it because, of course, China doesn't want to call their country the most polluted country in the world, though it probably is. They're not going to call it that propaganda-wise. But what is really going on, right? This starts to turn into whatever the hell's happening. So I don't know. The red was seen all over the damn place. Like they got people from different angles showing this red sky on social media. You got stuff all over Twitter. There's photographs and videos and all kinds of stuff. So it's coastal red around a particular city. So I don't know. Like I said, this seems strange to me. But what do you think regarding the idea of omens? And do you think this red sky means something else? Do you think it actually means, well, I don't know, something more woo-woo? You tell me. Let's go to some of this. Look and hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. We'll put you on the show. It's as simple as that. And let's go to we got a call coming in actually, and I'll get to some actual omens that they believe in different parts of the world regarding some are animal omens with the black cat, broken mirrors, things like this. What about the lucky horseshoes? Things like this, right? Like, is this real or is this just a hogwash superstition that people are, locked into and they can't shake? Old folklore that we just can't shake, you tell me. Let's go to, it looks like Joe in Florida. What's up, Joe? Welcome to Troubled Minds. How are you tonight?
I'm okay. Just kind of tuned in for a little bit. Just tired today, so I'll probably be off for a little bit here. We can probably get off to bed, but tuned in a little bit late. But what comes to mind is in Cameroon, and I actually Googled it, but in 1986, an eruption of lethal gas from Lake Nyos in Cameroon killed 2,000 people and wiped out 4 villages on August 21st. Without reading more about it, but carbon dioxide erupted, I believe, from the bottom of a lake, settled over the town, suffocated everybody, and that was the end of that. Throwing stuff at the wall and looking at that picture, that light could be from anything. That light could be from a lighthouse or something, especially if it was by a coastal city. However, living in Florida, I've been firsthand to red tide all the time. Knock on wood, we haven't had it start this year, but we will see what happens. I start to picture, maybe it was owlry in the sky. I haven't looked at any fact-checking really or anything about what the theories are, but maybe something was released. Maybe you couldn't see it in regular daylight. Obviously, they have smog issues and everything over there. And as the sun sets, or whatever time that was, the sky illuminated red. Do I think it's fishing boats? No, probably not. Do I think it's some kind of pollution? Yes, probably, definitely. Do I think the earth gives us war? Well, do I think that there's omens? I just think it's omens that we do to ourselves. We talked about it yesterday. You talked about it yesterday. That was interesting with the birds in China. and killing all those birds, and then having the wheat or whatever it was not being able to be grown. All those imbalances. Here in Florida, again, red tide. You went to the beach last year, there were dead fish all over the place. Couldn't get a hotel because it stunk so bad. Was that an omen? Well, if we didn't understand science, it was an omen. But we understand science now, so it wasn't an omen. Maybe it was, depending on your definition of it. It was just us being dumbasses doing that to ourselves. And we know China, every place in China has to have water filtration. China is like the the producer of the world for our garbage goods. They even used to collect our garbage, right? So I don't know. Maybe they don't even know. Are we going to see more of this? I'm sure we are. This is almost like birds falling out of the sky. To me, that'd be more of a little bit of a mystery. Birds dying in mass, things like that. I just start to wonder if maybe they're experimenting with their people and putting some gas out into the sky to see how people react, and maybe judging the media reaction and the public's reaction to having this in the town. Let's just face it, they've just been through all these lockdowns. Their COVID lockdowns were more extreme, than ours. How much can our people take? How much of a psyop can we play with our people? And it's true. Red China, red skies at night. It's insane, and it's disgustingly corrupt about what the elites are trying to do to the rest of us that are just trying to get through our day.
Yeah, what's actually fascinating about that idea that the lockdowns and the control and the rest of that, and then Kelly saying that it could have been a UFO and some other things happening. I wonder, right? Like if the Project Bluebeam were to happen and they were to stage like that fake alien invasion sort of thing, you almost figure it might start like this, right? Like it would have to be something that was so striking that it would sort of like kind of put fear in the hearts of everybody, right? Because, and I think a red sky would do that, especially if there was no obvious explanation, or let's say the explanation was, otherworldly. I mean, that's like, the gods in the sky, kind of, like I said, infuriating Mars, the god of war or something, right? Like this is what you would expect from something like that from, the days of old. But what about now? I mean, this seems like if they were going to try and scare us and say the aliens are here, it would be something like this, wouldn't it?
Well, for sure. I mean, I made the comment last week. If anybody's watched, I'm just going to give it away. If anybody watched Strange New Worlds, which is like Star Trek, but it's with Christopher Pike before Kirk, and they end up on a planet that got technology by accident from us. And, there's that first rule of engagement that you're not supposed to engage on a planet. Well, they see this planet, and the planet is basically in a civil war. And one side has a bomb. And basically, the captain of the Enterprise goes, we're going to have to interfere. And when he comes down, you could equate this to Jesus. Let's just say, in my mind, when I looked at it, this guy beams down to a planet that's probably at our maturity now, right? And this guy beams down, he's telling both of his leaders, hey, you guys can't do this, blah, 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 and they're ready to throw him in the brig. And, he makes a signal, and next thing you know, the Enterprise is in low orbit over the sky. And he goes, I have the biggest stick. And the society just stops right there. And then he plays a video, and curiously enough, in this video, they talk about Earth's second civil war because it's Star Trek and it makes a political commentary. But those people unified when they saw a bigger stick. And maybe we do have technology. Maybe it's not going to be the aliens. Maybe it's going to be the technology that we kept from them. And that'll be the major player in the Blue Book, in Blue Book. Maybe it's like, hey, make the UFO appear here, or hey, make the UFO appear there. And set off the weapons and do this and do that. But in the meantime, it's really us controlling probably alien technology that maybe we reverse engineered. Who knows? that's the grandest psyop. But do they need that? No. It's obvious that they could pull these psyops in other less educated parts of the world.
Yeah, 100%.
And then play the videos to us.
100%.
Deep fakes, all of those things.
Yeah, and so the ultimate deep fake is to pull off something like this, where you actually change, let's say the haze, the hue of the environment, right? If you could do something like this, and sort of put food coloring in the sky, or just to be silly, something like that, right? Like you put particulates up there that actually just change. I mean, imagine if like the sky was like a rainbow hue, right? Like the entire sky. Like if that wouldn't freak you out, man, I don't know what would, because of course you can't explain it easily.
Who would come out? Well, you're right. I mean, who would come out at night? Would you even need a police force? Who would come out at night if you just had some drones and cameras and that sky was red and nobody knows what the heck's going on? Who would come out and then watch the rumors fly? So yeah, I mean, you're on it. We're all on it. So it's disgusting, pretty much. Disgusting.
We can roll with that. I think it's pretty disgusting. No matter what it is, if it's pollution and fishing boats, it's gross. If it's something worse than that, if it's a UFO, that's a little bit terrifying too. I mean, what the hell's really going on? Like I always say, right? Living in the upside down and the upside down. Here we are, just trying to figure it all out. Red skies in China.
Well, you know what I hope to see? I hope to see the Batman symbol. That's what I hope to see is the Batman symbol in the sky.
Batman's gonna show up and save China from themselves. Stop the pollution.
Not China. Batman should come save us first.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Hey, come save us first from ourselves. You're the best, Joe. I appreciate it. What else you got for us, my man?
No, I told the people I work with I quit yesterday. In a couple of weeks, I'll probably know that I'm on vacation, so maybe I'll call you. Maybe I'll be out partying. I don't know. But just everybody keep a level head. I don't know. I have interesting stuff from my doctor today about, but it's political. And when I got up this morning, some other political stuff that made me say, we really are living in the upside down. And I just have to kind of smile and not let it drive me nuts, as all of our listeners should not go mad. We should just take a little bit of baby juice, have a good time sharing our thoughts, and just go about our days.
Amen to that. Amen. It's hard to argue with that. Congratulations on quitting the job, and good luck with the new one. Don't party too hard in the interim. How about that? Some wise words from an old man. Don't party too hard in the interim, Joe. You're the best, bro. I appreciate the phone call.
Have a good night.
You too, man. Stay safe. God bless you and the fam. Always a pleasure. That's Joe in Florida, a longtime friend of the show. He's a funeral director out there in Florida. Good guy to know, because not just he's a super cool dude, but he also has some sort of inside information regarding funeral homes and how they operate, and like remember down at just recently, this past couple of years, we had this the thing that everybody was locked down for, and so he actually was able to give us like numbers, at least estimates regarding more or less, let's say, dead bodies in his area, right? So interesting. Like there are some people out there that work in that invisible process that I always like to call it, that when people pass away, always tragic, but somebody has to kind of come by and pick up the bodies, and there's a processing that goes there, and some get cremated and some get buried, and so all the rest of the stuff, there's all the different beliefs the world over and all the different cultures and whatnot. So it is fascinating that he has to deal with some of that stuff, and he's got some inside knowledge, and he has shared some pretty saucy stuff, by the way, that we can't really share on the air. He shared it with me because he's like, hey, check this out, don't spread this, but there's some shenanigans going on, and so like I said, good guy to know. He's actually there, kind of on the ground, seeing all this stuff happen or not happen. So anyway, what are your thoughts? Back to the red sky, right? And I think it's a good idea to kind of bring back the idea of Project Bluebeam, of the fake alien invasion, right? If it were to begin, and they were trying to fool us or confuse us or keep us terrified, it would begin something like this, with some sort of red sky, right? You go outside, you look up, and like things would just be alien. in our own world, so that's another one we could add to the list here of if they were going to do this, wouldn't they do it with some sort of alien sky situation? Seems to track. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link, troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. Easy as that. Let's see, make sure everything's clear. Kelly, we're gonna hold you just till the top of the hour because Kelly, good friend of mine, he's got a potty mouth, so we're gonna save him to the radio. Unless you got an objection there, Kelly. We got time for you if you want to just hop in now. It's up to you, bro. Are you there? Test 1, 2.
How you doing there?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. I'll keep it clean, man.
Okay. All right. Go right ahead. Kelly in Colorado. Welcome to Troubled Minds. What's up, brother?
Good, man. Just listening to the show tonight. It's pretty interesting.
Thank you. What do you think about the red sky? Kelly's the one who actually shared this. I'm going to put the photo back up on the stream if you guys are watching on the stream. But the photo that makes it look like there was some sort of UFO happening. And that was your theory, right? So go ahead with your theory on the red sky in China here.
Well, no, I was, because I was looking at it first. Because the first video I seen is, it's kind of like, it's really bright red, almost like maroon, right? And the people this is the video, that one is the one that's like, the people are under the red light itself. Like, it's like, they were, that view was like somebody was like really close to whatever that was giving that light off. And I was thinking the same thing, because, you have pollution and all that stuff. And I used to be a firefighter for a few years for the Forest Service, and I've seen fires do that. They light up the sky, and it's because of pollution. As a matter of fact, like snow's fall. When I was a kid, I did it was funny. I did this. It was a science fair, right? And mine was on snow. It was during the wintertime, and it just happened to be, maybe because that's why I was just being a little lazy. But anyway, I was reading within encyclopedias, they were talking about snow has fallen to the ground in two different colors, like red and green. And it's also, the claim is that, it's also because of pollution. Kind of like the thing in India with the rainwater that turned red, that you guys were talking about earlier. They do, think that could be some particles in the sky falling down. But I don't know, man. Sometimes it's kind of hard to, I wouldn't say disagree with it, but it's, you got to have some major pollution going on. I know China has been working on it. They have these new things in the sky that sucks all the stuff out of the air, but I know they're trying to get rid of that. Actually, they're going a lot greener than most countries. But before, yeah, they've had, you'll see some pictures of before and after some of those cities with major pollution. But what caught me was the second video, right? The second video shows the lady she's like, from the city, from further away, and it shows just like the red light above another part of the city. And that's the one where, she's talking to her son, and they're actually freaking out. And you could hear it in their voices because the light starts like moving away. It is like if it was dimming, like flying away, or I would say that's what I kind of look like that I seen. It looks like to me anyway, is that it's going away. It's not like a light dimming, because you have, I know there's been like electrical junk boxes that kind of blow up too, but they're usually giving off different multi-colors of, I've seen that too with like, you have a cloud cover, but that's more, I try to find how long that red color was in the sky for. It doesn't really talk about it, but I'm pretty sure once that happened, all these people started videotaping, because everybody's got a phone nowadays. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's pretty interesting. Plus the videos that show, it kind of looks like something that's in the sky, and that type of phenomenon of UFOs have been filmed in different countries. One actually, it was really bright like that red, but it was like multicolors, and it was flying over a river. And I believe that, I don't know if it was China or here in the States. But yeah, I've seen, those things have been filmed the same way. I don't know, man. For me, it's pretty interesting. I am not really saying it is, but if you look at, the pictures and the videos, it's almost compelling to think that it's a craft in the sky or something. Or, like you guys were saying, it could be, I don't know if it's lasers, because you could see the laser if it was that much cloud cover through it, right? It'd just be like through smoke. So you would see the laser, I don't know, man. It to me, it just looks like something flying away from that position, from the lady's viewpoint. Her vantage point. So I don't know, man. It's pretty crazy. But that whole thing that you were talking about with the what was it? What's interesting was you're talking about like with I don't know, like what would you call it? Anyway, to get to that point, it was Mercury. Mercury just went into retrograde. So what's interesting about that happened on the 8th of May. I don't know, and this one here is, and Mercury is known as the messenger of the gods, or mediator between the gods and the mortals. And in Greek it was known as Hermes. So that's kind of interesting that it's. I just want to put that out that Mercury did go retro, and he's the mediator between gods and mortals.
You know what? That's a wild one. So let's add that to the mix here. So if we're talking about sort of an omen in the sky, and Mercury in retrograde, Mercury was also the messenger of the gods. The gods. I can't. Let's say it. Say it straight, Mike. Messenger of the gods, right? And so he imagine the message is from Mercury. Of Mercury of old, trying to give us the red sky to, I don't know, warn us of something coming. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not the end of the world type. I'm not a doom preacher, but I think a red sky and sort of dubious circumstances and like a fishing boat explanation doesn't seem to track to me. So it makes me wonder. And I hope it makes you wonder too, and that's what we do here, bro. We're just about out of time on the radio. You want to hang tight, and we'll go right back to you as soon as we get out of here?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, stay right there. This is a good friend of mine, a good friend of the show's. Actually, even the very first caller of Troubled Minds. If you go back years, Kelly's been with us for years. Thanks for your takes. Thanks for sharing the photograph. This photograph, if you guys are watching the stream, is Kelly shared this, and this is what we're talking about. This sort of light in the sky that seems to cast a reddish hue over the nighttime coastal city in China. And what does it mean? Well, is it UFOs? Is it some sort of omen? Is it Mercury in retrograde? Is it, well, Project Bluebeam? Lots of ideas here, and of course, I'm not the answers guy. If I was, it would be super easy, and I just read you the answers, and the show would be over. But that's also propaganda, by the way, when they do that. So just to let you know. So as we finish, it goes a little bit like this. Like, if you want to help the show, you guys know what to do. You can spread the word. That's the most important thing. Let people know there's a conversation going on that's not about regular boring ass news, right? It's not about boring ass propaganda, lefty righty politics. I try and stay away from that as much as possible because it's division. I think that we can talk about amazing things and look up instead of look down. And in this case, we're looking up at red skies in China. So there you go. Troubledfans.com. You can find Troubled Minds merch if you want to support the show that way. Of course, Patreon, Rockfin, and Twitch. You could sub up those other ways. Most importantly, just spread the word. Thanks for spending your time and energy with us. And let's get the hell out of here. We're going to get right back to Kelly as soon as we do the thing. And the thing goes a little bit like this. Let's smash the button and roll. That's the button, and that's the music. And so, if you're listening to us on the Fringe FM, stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void, and then after that, you'll get Ryan Gable and the Secret Teachings. If you're listening to us on any other platform, including the podcast feed, stay tuned for a third hour of Troubled Minds, and it goes exactly like this. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. Okay, there's the sound. Boom. All right, here's what we're going to do. We got Kelly here. I don't want to make him wait. We're going to skip the break. We're going to go straight back to Kelly in Colorado. We're looking to hear your thoughts on this tonight. What about this red sky in China? What about omens? What about, well, Mercury in retrograde? I think that's a great point. The messenger of the gods bringing us a red sky as a warning of what? You tell me. Is this Project Bluebeam? Is this a UFO? Is it just pollution in China and fishing boats? That seems as ridiculous as well, anything we can come up with. So looking to hear your thoughts. What can you come up with? 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org, and we will go put you on the show. Let's kill this music, and let's get right back to Kelly. Kelly, thanks for being patient. Thanks for being you, and welcome back to Troubled Minds. We were talking about UFOs in China, red skies, maybe Mercury in retrograde, and the messenger of the gods. What else you got for us, my man? I love where your mind's at with this. Per usual, you're spot on.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like again, I kind of looked at it in different ways too, because I'm not one to jump into it real quick. I kind of was thinking pollution, same thing. Was there anything happening at the time? But this was it's a city by the ocean, right? So, and there is some stuff that will reflect. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen different pictures like someone just mentioned too from the satellite, but you can see anything from a satellite. I mean, but the thing about it with this one is just, why to go how long? That's I really wanted to look for that, the length. How long was it there? You know what I'm saying? So, and pollution. I know, again, I was kind of touching on that, but I don't know, man. If it was pollution, and say a gust of wind came and blew it, the color just goes away. The whole fog and whatever is over whatever the city. That's looming in the air is still there. So I don't buy that whole, that the color of it. And it wasn't during sunset, and it ain't no fishing boats, because that'd be the fastest fishing boat I'd ever see move across the water like that. To move away from the shore or something. But the angles of the view of the city, it looks like an inlet. Kind of comes in. And some parts were the area of that city where the light was at. And where it comes in. So even if for what they're claiming fishing boats, you're not making wakes. You're not moving that fast anyway. There's no reason for fishing boats to be moving that fast. So I don't buy that one either. But when I started, like I said, I was watching. More got into it. I don't know, man. It's kind of weird because it doesn't. I mean, like the one that almost looks like it's coming off of it, but I don't know if it could be. Shoot, who knows, man? Even a portal or something? I don't know, because from the videos that we got, it was there for a little bit. I don't know how long for minutes wise, but the one from the distance, that was about, I don't know, I would say 30 seconds or so. Length, because the lady and her son was talking, they were kind of both scared. And then when it started moving away, it looks like it's moving away instead of dimming out, and that's the interesting part. And now that you brought up, kind of mentioned that too, I was looking at that and I was like, man, I was telling Michelle, I was like, didn't Mercury just go retrograde too? It's kind of weird. So I wanted to know what the meaning was. And again, that's the mediator between gods and mortals. I don't know, man. I kind of was fumbling on the omen part, but yeah. Who knows, man? I'm not into all omens per se, but I don't know. It's pretty interesting, man. The Earth has been doing some weird stuff and different changes going on that we have never encountered. Or, I mean, there's some, I'm pretty sure there's stories about some of this stuff, but it's in distance, it wasn't I don't know, man. It's the time frames and they don't really have no answers for it back then either. No video. They just have somebody maybe recording of what happened, and I don't know, man. It's just, like I said, weird phenomenon. I've seen around. I've been around the world. Like volcanoes, forest fires. Done that. It could be pollution. Seen that. Sunsets. Weird, but it's like everything's backwards, just like you're saying. I don't know. We're in the upside down or something.
Yeah, it certainly feels that way. And I don't know, there's so many ways to look at this. It just seems like, as always, right, they give us the official explanation for anything. And we're like, really? Like low cloud covers and fishing boats? That seems unlikely. Unlikely. I mean, plausible, maybe. Like, but maybe not. Also, maybe not. I don't know, dude. This is a creepy one. I saw it and was like, this is an oddity, but it is China, right? There's all kinds of weird shit happens in China all the time. I mean, clearly and obviously we got some Wuhan action going on the world over, right? So there's some weird shit going down in China, but red skies, that's a whole new level of weird, isn't it? That turns this into something else. So I thought it was worthy of a discussion here. We'll get into omens and the rest of this too. But so what about omens too, in terms of, like you said, Mercury retrograde, this type of thing? Do you think it's possible then, let's say, not in terms of maybe the gods communicating, but what if the universe has a way of, like we were talking about last night, like maybe the Earth claps back at some point. Maybe this is the, let's say, the sentient universe itself issuing a warning, or something to that effect. You think any of that type of stuff is possible regarding this red sky?
Yeah, it could be. What's interesting too is like, we were talking about like how, what was that one show you did? It was about, we were talking about consciousness. Right? So that could be another thing that's part of the Earth giving off its aura, maybe. Because there's what they call sprites, or different stuff that seems to be shooting off the planet. Again, that only just proves the fact that these planets are alive. It could be something like that too, that it gives off certain auras or something like that. You know what I mean? That it's telling you the universe. Again, like you're saying, it could be something that's affecting. That's another thing too. That Daryl was kind of mentioning about Nibiru is, I don't know, man. If this types of phenomenon's been happening, this weird stuff that's been going on this planet for the last, I don't know, being close to a decade, is, I don't know, man. For me, it's I keep an eye on that. World changes like this. I mean, I know the Earth changing. For some people want to call it climate change, but Earth changes. It's just a natural phenomenon. But it could be sped up through rapid pace of species being on this planet. Greenhouse effects. Because it's not saying that it doesn't happen, but it actually, I'm pretty sure we're kind of helping it along, But I don't know, man. Something's tugging. That's what I kind of seen. That something might be tugging, and it's been tugging. And the closer, if it is a planet, like let's say that those stories are true, and the whole Sumerian thing, and that Nibiru is coming around, because again, I try to go back into what they think a shar is, how long, and some people can consider that like 36,000, the rotation, kind of like what we would do around our sun, a year. But I don't believe it was that. I believe the way I broke it down, it was like 46 years is a Earth, Earth years is a shar. But if that was the case through, the last time of like, how they were talking about the age, like that's how they were talking, was universal wise, is like when the last time Nibiru came around, it was the age of I believe it was Leo, and some of the devastation stuff that was going around. And it's kind of weird, was matching that up with like the biblical thing of the floods and stuff. If that thing comes around, that's where he even talks about with Mars, and Mars was called Lamu back then, but it even affect Mars, like there was some drastic things that were happening on there, kind of like they said like the sky was being pulled away off of the planet, and that's why it's kind of like everything dried up, didn't have an atmosphere as strong as it was anymore. But I don't know, man. To me, I kind of look into because again, I'm into astrology as well. I got you seen that telescope I got, so I'm always chasing something when I get a chance. But trying to decipher some of these ancient stuff, you can only because if you go by the whole shar 3,600 years, I believe it is, that would be way off. I mean, the Nibiru would be on the furthest point of its rotation. But if you go with the calculations I did, and I went through the years, not the great year, but each right now we're just going into Aquarius, right? The ages, But that age from that time frame, it's either right upon us or at least 500 years away, and that's still right upon us. If it's coming in that far. I don't know, man. I kind of look at some of that stuff, and I drink the maybe juice on that one too, because I just trying to figure out what these people were talking about, and kind of putting stuff together. Another one would be looking into the Aztecs and the Aztecs with their stuff, because they were masters of time. They were even tracking time before they were even supposedly around. Thousands of years even before they were supposedly around. But who knows if they were around that time anyway? But because we don't really know. I mean, with the way science puts, the years together, I don't know I couldn't stand the whole concept of BC and, or why are we doing that? The time before, like some people would call like before Christ or after death. But it's just weird. Like why is the change of that age, keeping time anyway? I don't see where it could just be a consecutive where we're at compared to those ages, but I don't know, man. And for me, yeah, I just kind of ponder a lot of that stuff. I just want to bring up those, my thoughts on that, with that whole, with people with, what some people would say pollution, not just to get back to that, but I don't know, man. For me, it just kind of looks weird. I just kind of looking at the videos, and I've watched it, believe me, a few times over and over, and it looks, I don't know, man. It's pretty compelling to just look at something like that. It'd be weird for me if they flew over your city like that, if you were a coastal city like San Diego or something. That'd be pretty weird.
Yeah, it'd be super weird. That's what I'm saying. So, like, if I went outside right now and, like, looked up at the sky and this shit looked like that, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on right about now, right? And let me tell you, this is the craziest part, too. This is how suspicious I am. I wouldn't think aliens first. I'd be like, what kind of shit is this trying to make us think it's aliens? You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, right? Hey, you talk about this stuff, you think about this stuff enough, and, you realize that there are technologies out there that we really don't have a grasp of, that our militaries have been testing, doing all kinds of whack shit with for a long time. So, I'm going to be suspicious first. Show me the fucking aliens, and then, right? I'm not gonna fall for some lights in the sky. I'm not doing it, Kelly. I don't give a shit if it's red or rainbow or anything else in between. Green skies, I don't care. I'm not falling for it. Show me the aliens eating people or whatnot, and then I'll change my mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, that too is like, it could be Project Blue Book, but not only our Blue Beam, but like not only United States. China, I'm pretty sure, has got something like that. Because, there's stories now I've ran across too where there's, they're trying to make it all serious that, China has been caught changing the weather, we've been doing that shit since the 50s. I mean, I kind of reposted that on that blog too. I was like, man, we've been doing this since the 50s, so it's not nothing new. I mean, especially with China, they're not copying anybody anymore. They're doing their own thing. They've already got what they already need, for like through copying and, kind of like reverse technology. I mean, look at them now. I mean, they're not even part of their space front. They're already making their own space. Their space station, and this thing looks clean, very nice. Of course, it's more up to date. It's not anything like the old thing we got up there, but still, they're just keep moving forward, and that's the interesting part. Maybe they got something like that as well. I mean, I wouldn't put it past any kind of government anyway. Because I don't know, man. They're not trying to help anybody anyway.
It sure seems like it. Like there's so many obvious answers, and they're just so stupidly partisan, and it's unbelievable. It's just again, there's a reason why like the Congress has like a approval level of like 9% or something, and it's all like just their cronies that are getting paid. It's so stupid. Kelly, you're the best, bro. We got Jennifer behind you. We got to roll. You're welcome to stay right there and dip in whenever you want. Always a pleasure. You're the best. Tell Michelle I said hi. Thanks for being here. You're the best.
All right, brother. Hey, guys, have a good night.
You too, man. Appreciate it very much. 702-957-1037. That's Kelly in Colorado. The first caller ever on Troubled Minds. Rewind, he's been here for several years with us and always giving us hot takes. Looking to hear from you. What do you think about red skies? What do you think about China? What's going on with this? Is it, again, it's something to do with a little more paranormal, supernatural? Or do you think this is UFOs? Or do you think it's just a bunch of hogwash bullshit? And it is, like they say, it's fishing boats and low cloud covers. 702-957-1037. And Jennifer, hang tight. We're going to take just a quick break. I'm going to step out and hit the men's room. I'll be right back. We'll be faster than 2 minutes this time. I'm going to play just a little bit of music, and we got Jennifer in Missouri coming up. Thanks for being patient. Let's play this and skip this, and be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. All right, let's do this. Who's ready? I'm ready for more. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we're doing the thing. We're talking about red skies in China. We're talking about paranormal. We're talking about, of course, UFOs. We're talking about Project Blue Beam. What the hell does all this mean? I have no idea. Then that's why we talk about this stuff, because there's some weird shit happening in the news, and if we're not talking about it, who is? 702-957-1037. Let's go to Jennifer in Missouri. Thanks for being patient with me. Welcome. What's going on? How are you? Test, 1, 2.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear. Good evening. Sounding fantastic. Discord is so good. What's up, Jen?
Oh, good.
What's on your mind?
Okay. If it gets wonky, let me know. I'm trying to see how good this new internet actually is. Anyway, so first off, the idea of the omens. I think that there's I believe in omens. And if you've ever read The Alchemist, it talks about how everything is an omen. It's a novel story. I think it's a great story. Anyway, but he references that everything, every day, there's like a sign that there's a communication occurring between us and the universe. That it's like this secret language to see these signs. And for you to bring up, basically, and the way that would work is, that you have your ordinary day, but then throughout the day, there may be something that happens. With an omen, it's usually more pronounced, like it's a very bizarre thing, kind of like this, like what you're talking about. And then on the other hand, you have signs where it would just be like, a broomstick falls, or you drop a fork and it lands facing left, or something, or a certain, it just, anything that catches your attention, basically. And if you're watching for all these signs and omens, they communicate a continual trail of breadcrumbs, so to speak, throughout your life in a way. And so with the omen thing, though, what's really weird about it is that the fact that you've brought this up does kind of make it, I wouldn't have known about this red sky thing going on in China at all had you not mentioned it, because I wasn't following any of that, and I wasn't looking into it. So you alerting me, technically, and everybody else, hey, about this red sky stuff, it's out of the ordinary, and I guess all the time it's kind of like an omen when you're doing, your show, if it has anything to do with symbology in some way that we're not usually thinking about. So we're communicating in some way with some unseen plan. So, okay. So now I'm thinking about this red sky scenario. And there's so much in tropes and everything about the red sky. So, okay. First off, on a personal level, I had this dream when I was 14 years old. And in the dream, there was these kids playing around this tree. There was this big old dead tree, and there were these kids, and they were dressed in Amish clothes, and it was very traditional looking, and they were out in the middle of nowhere. And I was I saw them from afar, and I went up, and all the other one of the children, well, there were two children, but one of the children kind of separated from the others, and it was this little boy, and he ran down this trunk of this tree to there was this lake, and he ran down there, and he had this sack, a bag he just kind of had out of nowhere. And he dips it into the water. And when he lifts it up out of the water, like he fills the sack with water, when he lifts it up, the sky and the water and everything turned red, like in the dream. Like everything went really, really red. And it was really eerie. Anyway, so then the kid takes that bag and he runs off, and I follow him. And he runs, I'm like from a great distance, I'm like kind of following him, and he runs into the woods that were like nearby. And he goes down this trail in the woods, and I'm following him, like seeing where he's going for some weird reason, like seeing what he's doing. And he runs up to this clearing, and in this clearing in the dream, there was like this stump, a tree stump, and there was this thing like sitting on it. And in the dream, I could see the thing, and it was like this, I was like awestruck by it. It was like this weird creature, God thing. And the little kid is standing in front of him, and he has that bag of water, and everything's all red. And the thing like beckons to him to like show him what's behind his back, and the kid doesn't want to show it to him. And he keeps, like, the thing keeps being like, show me what's behind your back, you know? And eventually the kid does show him the bag of water that he had like drawn up. And then the thing like looked directly at me, and I was like hiding in these bushes, you know, like over here to the side, just watching the whole thing. And when he looks at me, I was like terrified, like shocked. When I woke up, I couldn't remember what the thing looked like. Like the being was like invisible to me. But anyway, this reminded me of that because of the red. Now, in every instance of, there's a lot of talk about, you have a thing called the red shift. And that's something that naturally occurs with astronomy and stuff like that, where there's a, almost like if light is like a wave. But the thing is, the thing with this red shift thing, though, is that you can't see it with the naked eye. Like, it's not something you would visually see. So, but what it is that as something, an astronomical object, like a planet or a galaxy or a star, is moving further away, it will appear to shift into the red spectrum visually, or, you know, if you were measuring it in some way, but not with the eye, apparently. You have that. On the other hand, you also have the idea of a cooling star also does that. But another interesting thing about it is during eclipses and things like that, there's been this effect where when the sun goes black in Ring of Fire, like a perfect eclipse, these rare eclipses where it's very precise, and you have the Ring of Fire. The sky also goes red, and you have the black sun. In the black sun mythos, I thought this was very interesting. You have this come up all over the place, like in The Witcher. You have this in their folklore. And in the Witcher story, in part of it, there's the instance where you have the red sky. And in the story, it's a graphic novel, and this little side trope, if I remember right. And Renfier's mother is wearing like this red scarlet gown, and she's pregnant, and she's watching the eclipse when the eclipse is happening. And during this eclipse, it like foreshadows the end of civilization. That's the omen that it is, because there are like 60 children that are born during the eclipse that bring in the end of civilization, basically. So that made me think, though, about the Goddard Tunnel thing, too. All these tropes and all this weirdness. And I don't believe that they're not paying attention, but like in the Goddard Tunnel, when they were doing that, there is, again, seen there, this woman in the ceremony they were doing when they opened the Goddard tunnels for CERN, like the Large Hadron Collider. When they did that, they had this woman who comes out of nowhere and kind of sweeps around on the scene of this ritual towards the end there, and she's wearing a red gown, and she's pregnant. And everybody was like, what is this about? And myself included. You know, what does that even have to do with anything? But it reminds me of the thing with The Witcher, too, though. And people have talked about the Large Hadron Collider, that CERN could be, that it could even possibly draw in, because it's changed the magnetic field, an asteroid or something, that it could be drawing in anything. You also have the Red Sky Clan and Lord of the Rings, where they talk about that they were separated from most of everything, the Red Sky Clan. And then right after mortar explodes and there's like that big volcanic explosion, it opens the valley up and they're exposed back to the rest of the lands. But they've become infested with like all these different plagues and evil and stuff like that. And it unleashes themselves. In the same context, you always have the context of the red sky talking about like a portents of a storm. And this is really weird too, like a storm is coming, that whole trope. Well, Trump was known that he said that like several times during his administration. You know, I guess this is like a sign of the storm is coming, that, you know, soon there's a storm coming. And people kept mentioning that he was saying that. If you look it up, he did. He said it like 4 times, a storm is coming. Really weird. But then you have this instance here, where you have us all seeing this red sky in China, and all over the world. And it's like, what it means to us is it saying that there is something, you know, being born. You also have the idea.
You just cut out, Jen. You there? Test 1 2.
About the coming. Can you hear me?
It's coming. Yeah, you just came back. You were silent for like 4 seconds, but you're good. Go ahead. You said the sun, then there's the idea of, and then it cut you out. But go ahead, whatever your last thought was, go right ahead.
Well, anyway, just that, you know, that there's that it's red before the black sun, and in that mythos of the black sun. If it happened on a Saturday, it's a little ominous. For a long time, there weren't 7 days like in the Viking calendar. It was like it didn't even exist. You know, it was for instance, in Viking culture, they had Sunday for Sunday, Monday or Sunday was for the sun, and then Monday was for the moon, and then Tuesday was for Tyrs, and Wednesday was for Woden, and like Thursday was for Thor, and then Friday was for Frida. But there was no 7th day. There was no Saturday for Saturn, the time god. And I was wondering, you know, whenever the sky went red for them, because it's only like the present moment when you're looking at things like that. So I wonder what was happening all around the world at that exact moment. Like I didn't look at what the date was or anything, but to try to really investigate into it, you'd want to see or even imagine what we were doing, like what were you doing, or what was anyone doing? What was happening in their life at that moment that the sky went red over in China? Because you hear about this stuff too with the eclipses, and they happen pretty frequently, obviously, but not always over yourself. But what was happening the day that the eclipse occurred? And, you know, were we even aware of it? But I do believe in omens. I think it meant something. I think that everything is some kind of communication between us and the boards of the world in a way. So I think that does mean something, and I think it's usually seen in a negative light, you know, because it feels that way. Yeah. I mean, everybody's kind of like, ooh, everything went red, you know.
Yeah, again, we're talking about red. We're talking about the color of Mercury, the color of Mars, right? So we got Mercury as the messenger. Mars is actually the war god. But then red also used to be in the ancient times, is that when they saw a red sky, they thought they had angered the gods collectively. And it was like some sort of bad portent for the future, for something about to happen that was, you know, again, and that's the whole omen situation where it's like, wait, so if we have a red sky in China, you know, like what's happening there? Again, you know, I don't buy the fisherman excuse and the low clouds and this shit. It seems like something else was going down, but what exactly, I think, makes you raise your eyebrows and wonder what the hell's up.
Well, yeah, even if it was. You see, here's the thing about the omens and stuff like that. It doesn't matter what caused it. Not really. I mean, I'm talking about all the things that could cause it, but it wouldn't really matter. Like, if you go outside and your sky is red, it doesn't matter at all what caused it. The point is that the world looks red. It's the same thing. Like, say, like somebody's mowing their yard and a weird snake comes out and you're walking down the sidewalk and the snake goes right in front of you. It doesn't matter that, it's just because they were mowing the yard, you know? It doesn't matter at all. It's the fact that there's some kind of symbolic background to why it happened. If people, like, I am not myself included, but if I was trying to pay attention to signs and omens, and I always think that they mean something, if I do notice, I tend to notice the more obvious ones. But I mean, if you were paying attention all the time, you would notice all kinds of things that were out of the ordinary, I suppose. And you would interpret it as meaning something. In this instance, it doesn't matter if it was pollution, in my opinion. It doesn't matter if it was pollution. It doesn't matter if it was lights reflecting this and that. What matters is they recorded a red sky and they showed it to the world, and everybody got freaked out. That's what matters. You know? So it doesn't really matter what caused it. But if what caused it was something to do with the sun, or if it was something to do with an incoming planet, or if it was, like, for example, with CERN, it's about the horned god, which has to do with, like, it has to do with Saturn, and it has to do with a lot of things. So it could be, I mean, there's so much symbology there. But, and especially to do with time, or time is up, or there's going to be a shifting, or one era is ending and another is beginning, because the red precedes the black. Like in, it's like the blood and then the black, the darkness, where everything, or transformation occurs, you know. It's because you have sort of the shifting thing that happens with the light spectrum. And that's as far as symbolic of, like, dream interpretation. But it would mean something regardless. If it was to do with pollution or anything like that, if somebody was looking at this and being like, what does this mean, if you were interpreting the science, which everybody in the world used to at one point, but we just don't do it anymore because we're out of sync. We're out of sync with the unified theory that there is a communication occurring 24/7, that there's no time we're not in communication with the gods. We're so distracted, like in the Aboriginal, like all of the other previous cultures, every past culture has been in tune with this. We're like probably one of the first cultures to not give a damn about it, and we just go about our business. But see, it still finds a way to communicate to us, even if we're using these digital, all this technology like that. It's going to communicate and use that. Like in the tarot cards, for example, a lot of people think that they have to master tarot cards themselves, but in fact, you're just giving meaning to the cards. You're saying, when I look at this card, it's going to mean this. And so when it wants to communicate to you, it's going to show you that card. You don't have to memorize anything. You just give a definition for each one. So if I should pick up anything, like that's what all the stuff about divination is. If I ordain to myself that when I see 3 feathers in a day, it means this is going to happen, then that's what the universe will show me to signify that this is going to happen. That's how signs and stuff like that work. So what does a red sky mean to the mass majority of people? And it usually means, like everyone says, there's some kind of storm coming, or there's something bad's going to happen. So it would seem that it's warning, because omens also, too, are not a certainty. Omens are a warning. It's never like you see an omen and this is definitely going to happen. The true definition is it's a portent of something. It's telling you there might be something that happens. It's a warning, a red warning, you know.
Yeah.
So I think there could be some.
Yeah. Even in that case, like in the old days, there would be a warning like that, like a red sky or something. And what they would do is they would start, they would mobilize and they would start sacrificing things to the gods, right? Whether some cultures that was people, some it was animals, some it was both. Like, and that's the thing. It's like sort of appeasing that negativity that was told to come as that warning, right? So an omen itself, like you said, is not doom. It's hey, you know, like you guys have gone astray, whatever the hell's going on here, and get back to God, or get back to where you should be, whatever that happens to be. You know, like I hate the term God because, you know, it just means it's like good and bad, because it means so many different things to so many different people, and that's good in my opinion. But it's also so polarizing because you say God and people just fight. You know what I mean? It's like, but let's say the gods. Let's just go full pagan, and we'll just say the gods. You okay with that? I'm sure you're okay with that. This is trouble.
Yeah, I'm totally fine. I mean, it doesn't even, you know, and it's, everybody's giving reference. I mean, even in the Bible, it was polytheistic during the whole Old Testament. Like, it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying it was, until they decided that, hey, we just want to focus on this one because we want to just kind of make it easier for ourselves. I'm not saying this is what they were thinking, but I'm just saying that the whole Old Testament was written by people who were worshiping multiple gods. That's a fact. But anyway, So Christianity is, I don't think it has to polarize anybody, and I don't think that any religion intends to do that. But regardless of belief around the world, this idea that the universe that we live in is communicating to us, and it communicates to us because the soul doesn't have to have words per se. It uses like symbology and stuff. So you have these instances like this, where you've communicated, for example, that, hey, I saw this, or when we're communicating anything, but we see symbology in everything that we're sharing, there's something occurring on a deeper level where we're taking this information in and we're saying to ourselves, oh, because he was this, there's a rhythm occurring that's all going in the same direction, but all at different times and in different ways on an individual basis. But what I'm trying to say is we are all looking at this and thinking, especially with what's happening, that there must be something occurring then, or about to get ready to occur, or that terribly, I mean, even in TV trope, this is TV trope even, the red sky. I mean, they've been showing us this symbology the whole time, and then we have our own interpretations of it with the weather and everything else, but a storm is coming, that type of thing. So all of us kind of feeling like what's getting ready to happen, and a little uncomfortable about it. Like it's a little uncomfortable. Yeah. Nothing to be terrified of, but interesting and very. I would like to see what was happening that day that it happened, and if I were looking at this and very serious about it, I would look not just at the red sky that was happening in China, but what was happening everywhere else. That they were showing everybody like what was happening at that time, and then even deeper, when it's happened in the past and what was happening in that time in history too. So to try to understand what the sign is trying to say, we might get a clearer picture of it that way by really taking out, the telescope and like really digging into what day was it, what time did it happen, where was this seen, the latitude, the longitude, what was happening around the world too at the same exact moment, and then on a personal level, what were you doing when China saw red skies? That's how you would interpret an omen, I think.
Yeah.
But I think it's very interesting. Yeah.
Go ahead. Interesting is good. That's why we're here doing this. I don't know, as you know me, I don't know the answers here, but it is fascinating, let's say, that we had a red sky. And I think the most obvious thing, too, is that, red is the color of blood. And if you go out and, like I said, would it be as, let's say, disheartening if you went out and there was a green sky? You know what I mean? So I intentionally put the color green behind me here, sort of just a reference of, okay, look at the way these colors sort of clash as part of, how people interpret them, right? Like blood is the color of red is the color of blood. And so in that sort of that, let's say, not just symbolically, but also literally, it's it's like danger. It's like the red stoplight. It's like It's like it is blood. It is that idea of kind of a warning. I don't know. A lot here, a lot to think about, a lot to talk about, per usual. That's the way we're doing it. You're the best. I don't want to stretch you too thin here. You got more. If you got more, you're willing to go and go for it. But we got more people too. There's also, we can get back to Kelly, and if you got anything for James or Daryl, what's up, Jennifer? You're killing it. So I'm not trying to stop you.
No,
I'm not trying to stop you.
Not really killing it. Just not at all. I just had, you want to say something. There's a lot to it. This is a really fascinating conversation, and you can talk about it pretty much, as long as anybody wants to talk about it, because it's very interesting, and there's a lot to it, I think. And no, I'll get off here. I just think that omens are something that everybody maybe we should all be looking for. Maybe we should be paying attention, a lot more closely. And maybe there is somebody, or maybe not somebody, it's not really the right word, but maybe there is a type of communication occurring. And maybe this red sky in China, and then what we're all feeling about it is going to be as unique as it is itself, But yeah, I'm going to pop off here and just listen in on everything, and good stuff. I think it's very good stuff.
Thank you.
I think it's good for it.
Thank you. Good stuff from you as well. Great stuff from Jennifer. Night after night. Please give her a follow. She's got a YouTube channel. Check it out. Links in the description down below. And she's got new content coming very soon. Do we have a date on that? You got stuff coming? Can you tell us next Tuesday or something, or what's going on with your YouTube channel, Jennifer? Or did she pop off? She's out. All right, that's cool. All right, check it out. We're still doing this. We're talking about this. We got a few minutes left. So, what are your thoughts? Right, Jennifer had all kinds of great points there, and back to my very simple analogy of blood. Red is the color of blood, right? And blood is the color of strife and war and danger, and right, the sky was red. I think that's the most obvious extrapolation of what this may be. But again, like I said, would you feel more or less heartened or disheartened with a green sky, or with a purple sky, or you know what I'm saying? You sort of start shifting the colors and the spectrum of colors, the red shift, blue shift. Or what about that blue, but not like the blue sky like we're used to seeing, like a more blue, like a red shift, blue shift type blue. So I don't know. There's a lot here. It is pretty wild and wacky, but we got folks been here chilling for a little bit. Thank you, Jennifer. Great stuff as always. Let's go to Daryl's been quiet the longest. Let's go to Daryl. Go to James, back to Kelly, and then what do you guys got? What do you got, Daryl?
I was just thinking, it doesn't matter what we think about the red sky. What do the Chinese people think about the red sky? There's a Chinese newspaper that's been soliciting me, and why do I want to listen to them? They have free speech? I don't know. A Chinese journalist? Wow, what are they going to say to me? Do they even know that they had a red sky? The one person that took that picture, I don't know, do they believe in, omens? That's what I want to know. How invested are they in omens, and how many of them got to see that red sky, and was that made for their, for a warning to China, or a warning to the Chinese, or maybe a warning to the world. I don't know. In a subtle way. Anyway, I'm always going to assume manipulation somehow because I'm kind of cynical, but just saying.
I think to talk about this stuff in general terms, I think you got to be a little cynical. I'm cynical as fuck, by the way. I'm one of those guys that's I see a fake UFO video and I roll my eyes. I'm like, you dirty fucks. Quit trying to fool us, that pisses me off a lot. It's hey, look, at least be honest about, look, we talk about all kinds of whack shit on this show for sure. But it's hey, look, we're being honest in it. We don't know those answers. And is it possible that these things are true? Right? That's an honest conversation. But if you're literally saying oh, this is a real fucking UFO and it's not, okay, that's not even close to an honest conversation. So it pisses me off.
Boy,
yeah,
that's pretty. That's a good card trick though. Turning their sky red like that and faking a UFO is pretty cool too. I mean they've done even bigger stuff than that. They could do better than that. I mean, that city in the sky, that hologram, I don't know. They're very, very creative. So anything's possible. But we have so many solar flares lately that they create these auroras. And I don't know why they would be green somewhere and then red somewhere else, Does it depend on how you're voting, the red states and the blue states? I don't know. I'm kidding.
Oh shit, we just went political, didn't we? God damn it, Daryl. Why? For the love of God, why? I know we're just yanking each other's shit. Hey, I'm talking to you. Hey Daryl, is that all?
That's not that's not
Go ahead then. You got more. Go right ahead.
I was gonna say that's not Bill Gates, that's God. That's God over there. He just thinks he's Bill Gates. That's all. That's all I wanted to say.
There it is. There's the.
That joke.
I was looking for the New York. That's all. I got it. I coaxed it out of you, Daryl. You're the best. Links in the description. Follow Jen. Follow Daryl. Follow James. Follow all the fine folks that call into the show. Night Stalker. They're all down there. The Robert, because I never mentioned the Robert over on Rockfin. A great dude, great friend of mine. The Robert. There you go. I clicked my heels 3 times and summoned the Robert. 702-950. 857-1037. Click the Discord link, troubleminds.org. What about these red skies in China? What the hell's going on here? Is this literally just pollution and fishing boats, or do you think there's something more dire, more dark and sinister, more Omen-esque? You tell me. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's go back to James. He's been quite the second longest. What's up, James? You got more to kick into this? Some ideas, maybe stoked by Kelly or Jennifer or Daryl? Go right ahead, my friend. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. It is funny. All the calls have been great, by the way. I said so in chat, but just wanted to say so here as well. It's kind of just all this conversation, this last few minutes, has reminded me of something I said the other day in a voice chat, where isn't it ironic in a way that if a government or many governments, doesn't matter, if they suddenly came forward and said, yes, aliens are real and they're coming, isn't it ironic how so many people out there would be freaking out thinking it's finally happened, and then there'd be a bunch of us sitting here going, wait, really? Are you sure? Are you lying? Are you what's going on here? The people that you would think would want to would believe in that kind of news, I think at this point a lot of us would be skeptical, and then the people that you wouldn't think would believe in any of this, they'd be shocked by it and maybe they'd be buying it. And I just think that says something about these times.
I think so too. I think that's we're in a weird spot. Let's say not just politically, but also how do you go to the next level of this? Like literally defining what humanity is going to be. Like where we've come, where we're going in relation to information, in relation to again the post-truth world, in relation to propaganda and like the binary arguments and just hatred. I mean, it's sick, dude. It's sick. Like here we are. Like we're the red sky just popped off in China, and like. No, nobody's into it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I guess this is fine. This is the new normal, right? Like crazy shit just kind of goes down and nobody gives a fuck. So here we are, right? Like trying to figure out what the hell's actually going on. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. You tell me, man, like what's with the world and what's next? I wish I knew what was next, to be perfectly honest. And you know why? This is the funniest part. This is why I don't know what show we're going to do tomorrow, because I want to see what tomorrow's news cycle brings, right? And that's why I wait, right? Because I could set up 5 shows next week and be ready to go, right? But I think, being on top of the game, on top of the zeitgeist, on top of whatever the fuck is going on out there, whether it's right, wrong, indifferent, or even fucking crazy as like red skies in China. It's important to see what's happening in real time, because what if that was a UFO? What if that was maybe a warning from Hermes, the messenger of the gods? Maybe it was the blood red sky for a reason. Maybe it was some bullshit perpetrated by the Chinese government to scare the people, right? Like there's a lot of really let's say interesting things. I think that's probably the best way to put it, because who knows what the fuck's really going on, right? I don't know, bro. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Like, what do we do next? I say, hey, we be unafraid. We wait for tomorrow. How about that? You okay with that?
Oh, yeah. And you know what? I'm not saying that there won't come a day where actual contact, the official public contact, not even official, because that's getting back to government, public, open contact happens. I'm not saying that won't happen. I'm just saying if there's, if there's the various governments are involved in it, then that is automatically suspect to me. But then just getting back to that, the red sky, that really is, we just don't know. But I have a quote that I saved for the end here that I can use for the outro if it works for you.
Sure, of course.
Sent it your way earlier.
Yeah, put that in your back pocket. We'll do that as we finish for sure. You send it to me.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
yeah.
It's a good one.
But it's basically just the idea is, omens can mean many things to many. I think I said this earlier. Omens can mean many things to many people. Same as superstitions. Same as any kind of a story. Think of how we all interpret what we hear, and let's just take stories for example, fictional stories, accounts of history. We all interpret them in different ways. If we didn't, then there would be no conversation. There'd be no need for conversation.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly the point. That's exactly why we're here. Because again, like I said, I don't think like there's an absolute truth. I just don't think so. I think that we carry that within us, and like the better the question you ask, I think you get closer to that absolute truth, right? You see what I'm saying? So like if you ask 100 people like a kind of a shitty question, like a political question, you don't get any truth whatsoever. You get like, propagandized people, right? Like that have been conditioned to say this or that, right? But if you ask like a really pertinent, good question, that sort of lens of truth gets closer and closer, sort of that prism effect that like Kelly's talked about in the past as well. So where it's not about like touching the truth. It's about asking the question the closest to the truth so the people there can sort of all define their own, right? Because of course consciousness is all different. We're all different, and honest to God, that's a beautiful thing, right? Unless of course you're belligerent and you're like a stupid POS and you're like, oh, you want to fight about dumb stuff, right? Then that's not right. That's like a low level of just consciousness entirely. But like we're different. And different's good. Different's not bad. Different is what makes the world go around. We just have to realize it and embrace it and understand that they don't want us believing that. And that's, to me, that's what the fucking world's really about. And here we are. I don't fucking know. I don't know, man.
I'm a lot more interested in all the different views on what this red sky can mean than just finding one that is, the answer to what it is, in a way. Because I think there can be many pieces to an answer or many answers, so love the show. Great topic, and very timely given, like I said, other events going on or soon to be going on lately.
Exactly. I kind of agree. We might get to that Mars doorway tomorrow, so so hang tight on that. It came a little late in the day. I was like, do we do Mars and doorways? How do I contact Ash? I tried to dial into Ash, and sometimes the orbits aren't in sync, and so maybe tomorrow. We'll see. But there you go. Hang tight for that. James, you're the best. James, look, he updated his links. He's got all the links in one spot. Scroll down. You can find his books, his podcast, all the shit James does. Check it out. Links in the description. James, you're the best, bro. Always a pleasure. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being you.
No problem. Glad to be here.
Thank you. Kelly in Colorado, you still there, my friend? You've now been quiet the longest. Are you still there? Any other thoughts on what anybody else has said tonight, based on where you started and where we've ended here, or about the end? What do you think?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. Go right ahead.
Yeah. So, kind of Jennifer jogged seeing a little bit of what I was trying to say. Well, what I forgot to mention earlier, but was if we're talking omens, right? So, and kind of like what Daryl was saying, where it happened. So if it's over China, right? This is the kind of thing I was thinking too earlier, was when I first seen this, this first story, right? Was if we go omens, right? So in Chinese lore, they go by a lot of it goes by color. Excuse me. But one main example is like their first emperor. He was known as the Golden Dragon, right? So maybe this was a birth of an omen of the Red Dragon, right? I don't know. It could be because and in Chinese lore, for a red dragon, it means good fortune. So at least it ain't so much of the the fear and a storm coming or whatnot. But for Chinese lore, red is more for like good fortune and stuff. It's used for like celebrations or like even weddings and stuff like that. So that's a good thing too. And for Celts, and the Celts, their religions or their beliefs for red dragon, they believe in dragons too. And for them was red dragons were associated with for more like their leaders and stuff. For them, it like symbolized their right to power. So, I don't know, man. So it's more, again, if we're looking at, area where this place happened, where it happened over China, maybe it's, and if we go by omens, and colors, or, if we're talking colors, maybe it's not so bad as what, some people may think. But I also read some stories earlier. Was they kind of said how China could be in a bad omen now. China was but this is all mainstream media saying that how they handled the thing the thing that happened over there. But I don't know, man. For me, if I'm looking at colors, again, and talking the area, I'd say it's a good omen, man. It's a good fortune is what it means anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point. And like James was saying earlier, it depends on different people the world over see different things different ways. And yeah, I don't know. So regarding omens and whatnot, is it cultural? Is it regional? Is it universal? Who the fuck knows, man? And I think that's the thing, right? Like being able to tap into those. Whatever they are, let's say, and I agree with Jennifer too. What she said as well. That it almost doesn't matter what caused it. It's still a thing, right? It's still a red sky. What does that mean, right? Even if it's fishing boats and smog, it's still right. It enters the zeitgeist as a as a something, right? As a some people will see it different ways, and it becomes sort of like legend. It kind of goes into folklore and legend, and then right, like it becomes like the whispered. Remember when the sky went red back in 2022, or you know what I mean? It kind of turns into that type of thing. So it almost doesn't matter what caused it. It does enter sort of the human brain cycle as something significant, right? Even if it is just dirty sky and like some fishing boats, which I don't buy, by the way. I think that's horseshit. But here we are. I don't know, man. I don't know. Crazy stuff. What the fuck is going on? I couldn't tell you because I don't have those answers. But I'm glad we have each other, because if we're not talking about this, like I always say, who the fuck is talking about this? You can't turn on Fox or CNN and hear anything about a red sky in China unless it's like 9 seconds just in passing. That's all you get. This is so boring. It's so fucking boring. You're the best, Kelly. Yeah. You're the best, Kelly. What else you got, my man?
Now, another thing I was thinking too was that so the type of omen type thing. Okay, so God, man, I lost it there for a second, but again with the on the Chinese side, right, or even the red sky. I don't know, man. For me, God, man, I lost train of thought right there. Jesus fuck.
Kelly, we're getting old, bro. We're getting old. It's all right. Hey, you hear me talking circles around myself all the time. So number one, the advantage of being like the talk show guy is you kind of have to talk circles because people come and go, right? So like I get the advantage of talking circles, but I lose my train of thought constantly. So it's all good, bro. You're in good company. We were talking about omens. We're talking about the red skies. You said that China in particular, red to them is a good thing, that it's celebration. And you're right, because when I go down to the Bellagio here, because that's the only way I experience Chinese culture, they do Chinese New Year. If you know what I mean. I've never been to China is what I mean. And everything's red. Everything's red, like a celebration. You're completely right. But back to that, just maybe hopefully getting you back on track.
Yeah, I got it now. So, like,
right.
Okay, so we're talking, let's go galactical, right? Or universal.
Sure.
So it's interesting to look at the thing. What just happened? We just had the solar eclipse, kind of like what Jen was saying, Jen was saying. We had the solar eclipse and then the new moon, right? So it was like and the timings were too, and right now we're supposed to be coming up to a lunar eclipse. So the timing is kind of weird too. Is like an astronomical speaking, right? So who knows what this could mean? And again, if we're, I'm not trying to, be a negative part on it. I'm kind of looking more of the Chinese color side. Because I've been to Hong Kong a few times. That was one of my favorite ports. But yeah, I was there for a couple celebrations. It wasn't the New Year, but man, it was there was some incredible stuff too. You know, they go all out, and everything is red or gold. You know, so I don't know, man. For me, it's a good. If we're talking omens, you know, like I said before, I'm not really too much in those, but if I'm looking at that ways, I'm looking at it in a good way. You know, proportionally.
Yeah, why not? Hey, why not? Like I said, it doesn't have to be. An omen is not necessarily a bad sign. It could also be a good sign. Or, again, less if it's a bad sign, like Jennifer said as well, and James added on to that as well. If it's a warning, then we can actually change that, right, by changing our behavior. So the warning doesn't mean doom. It means, hey, think about what you're doing, because doom may be a part of this, unless you guys wise up. And here we are, Kelly, trying to wise up. How many years together? It's so many years, Kelly. Fuck, man. At some point, we're going to be like those grizzled old men with the white hair and the cane. Hey, get off my lawn. Hey, but for right now, I'm okay just hanging out by dark of night, talking about crazy shit and losing our train of thought. You okay with that?
I'm walking here.
Hey, I'm walking here. You're the best. You're the best. Let's kill this. Let's do it. Let's get the hell out of here. Anything else, Kelly, before we finish this up? James has a James show for us, and we're about to finish and do more Troubled Minds tomorrow night.
No, man, that's good. I was just a good show tonight, man. I was glad you guys, we kind of tapped on this this evening, but good thoughts for everybody. It's, again, you know, everybody comes together. We have a good show, so see you tomorrow.
Amen, bro. You too. Again, tell Michelle we said hi. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being part of this. You guys are the best. Let's get the fuck out. Look, it goes like this, guys, right? Like, thank you for being part of this. Like I said, a conversation is great when you have many people with different things to add, right? If it's just me, like I always said, it's just sitting in a corner mumbling to myself. It's not a conversation. That's like a psychosis. So in many ways, like so many people have said to me, hey, Mike, this is therapy, right? Tam Bam, shout out to Tam Bam out there on Rockfan. Mike, this is therapy. Ash, the reptilian from Mars. Mike, this is therapy. This is like being able to talk about things people cannot and will not talk about. And it's okay. Look, you guys know me. I don't profess this to be the truth. This show is the truth. If anything, you know what this show is the truth of? Oh, the only thing I can profess is the truth of the human condition. That's it. Because, of course, we're all different, and we come together and discuss the ideas we have in our heads, and the human condition, as you see, can be a beautiful, wonderful thing if we allow it to be. And that's that. That's the truth of this show. And I'm not trying to make anybody vote for this dude or that dude. I don't give a fuck. I'm so over that shit. Well, here we are. There we go. Let's do the thing. I'm going to smash the button. We're going to do the James intro, because James has been peeling out some fantastic outros for us in these past several shows. He's all over this game. So let's just let's smash the button, get to James in just a second as the bass drops. But as you guys know the drill, right? The bad news is we're done. The good news is, God willing, we got tomorrow. That's for Jay in New York. And let's keep on trucking. Like, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to question yourself. Don't be afraid to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong. Don't let the fucking droolers out there tell you that it's not okay. It's okay. It's okay to be wrong. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my good friend James of Salcedo Paranormal. Go right ahead, my friend.
Omens are everywhere in this world. You just have to find the one that fits. And that's from Terry Pratchett.
Yes, there you go. That's it, right? Depends, per usual, life, the human condition, is very much about perspective, less about actual truth. And there we go. There we go. James, you're the best. Please give him a follow. Links in the description down below. When you click his link now, his books are there. James is an author, by the way, not just a podcaster, not just the conspiracy, I said conspiracy, I meant paranormal expert of Troubled Minds, and a great friend of mine in the show as well, and many of the folks here. He's an author. He's a podcaster. He's a brilliant dude. Give James a follow. Buy his books. Links in the description below. All those other fine folks as well. Please click their stuff and do the things. And there we go. Let's get the fuck out of here. As it finishes, it goes like this. What do I say, James? James told me last night, Mike, just say what you always say. You think that still applies, James?
Yeah, I'd say that works.
No, that totally works. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to say what I always say. If you want to help the show, there are a number of ways. You can sub up on Twitch, of course. You can sub up on Rockfin. Rockfin's probably your best value. It's $10 a month. Links in the description below. You get not just Troubled Minds premium content. You get the extra, like, behind-the-scenes type stuff that happens in these shows, because all that gets sanitized off of YouTube. You get an ad-free actual archive coming to the podcast feed, which is coming soon. You get Michael Tracy, you get Abby Martin, you get again the Crow 777, you get Sam Tripoli, you get Jimmy Dore, you get all those people included on that Rockfin sub. So there you go. That probably, well, that's the best way to do it if you want value. If you want to help us and don't spend money, or no, wait, one more thing. Do you like money? Do you like swag? Troubledfans.com. It's the official merch for Troubled Minds. We got hats, we got shirts, we got patches coming. There's all kinds of stuff. You can find stickers there. There's mouse pads. There's all that shit. Troubledfans.com. Go check it out. And also, if you want to help the show and you don't want to spend money, I completely understand. It's not in your budget, or et cetera, so on. You don't love us that much. It's fine. I get it. Spread the word. Listen to the podcast feed, the RSS feed, whether you listen to Spotify, iTunes, or anything else. Just go listen to the old podcast feed. Over 400 episodes there now. And I'm the only one, I'm pretty sure, in the whole planet that's listened to all of them, because I've been here for all of them. Have you? If you haven't, go and check the podcast feed. It helps the show. All right, as we finish, it goes exactly like this. You want to do it, James?
Be sure, be strong, be true.
Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night. Thanks, James. You're the best.